Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome along to Teretonga here in Invercargill. We are at the bottom of the South Island of New Zealand. With me in the commentary box this year for the Pro Sport Series, the one, the only, Ben Jenkins. Ben, welcome to commentary for 25-26. You're going to be a busy man, mate, keeping me company here in the commentary box and doing some driving.
Yeah, thanks, Warren. Definitely straight out of the car just before for my last pro practice and jumped straight in here to watch these talented Pro Sport drivers lay down for the first time for this season. So looking forward to it.
Now tell me, mate, you've been out there behind the wheel. It's been a challenging day, hasn't it? A few setup changes you've had to throw at things?
Yeah, we definitely have. We've thrown the book at it. My great team have had it on, but not just myself, every driver here. We arrived at the track this morning with a whole lot of rain overnight and a whole lot of rain all the way up till just after lunchtime today. So those last sessions that we all had were the first time driving the tricky track in the dry. So luckily, it looks like a dry track out there for qualifying.
So how tricky is this track? I mean, I know we've got watchers from all over the world, and the last time I believe we were at Teretonga was 2019. How hard is it? Is it comparable to anything else in New Zealand, or is it just its own little beast?
It kind of is its own little beast. It's got quite a few different elements to this track that are different to especially our North Island courses. Maybe the closest one with a high-speed entry and a sweeper-style entry would be Manfield, maybe. But hey, this track, it demands everything, and it demands a whole lot of throttle right up until the last corner. The last left-hander is when you breathe a touch of throttle before getting back on it to avoid the ripples. Right,
now one of the reasons we've got you on board this year is your level of technical prowess, so to speak. Now, you've been out there on a 265 wide semi-slick, but the Pro Sports, the development series we're about to see, they're the 235 radial drivers, and there's going to be quite a variance in tyre used in that class. How much does that play into things at a track like this where it is very fast?
Massively, and because of the tyre technology we have these days, especially in the pro cars with the 265 semi, the cars are so gripped up and are so fast. So yeah, these Pro Sports on a 235 street tyre, they should have quite a bit of grip, but nothing compared to the pro boys, I'll tell you that.
It sounds funny to say it, right, that it's a street tyre, but it literally is. You can go and buy these tyres and throw them at your car. As we take a look at the very first qualifier to run for the 25-26 season, it is Vinny Singh out of Whangarei in the North Island. There's something in the water up there, isn't there, Benny? And there's a few drifters that have come out of Northland, and what is it, 22 odd hours or something from up that way to get down here to Invercargill. So Vinny in his first competition season about to make his first qualifying pass here, 350Z, about 800 horsepower. I did see them in the pits before with the water blaster out, trying to remove a bit of debris from the front of the car, which leads me to believe that Vinny might have been finding the limits out there, which is something that as a pro sport you kind of have to do, don't you, really, to find you got to find those limits on a big track like this.
That's dead right. This track is a skinny track. It's one of the skinniest we come to in the country, so it's definitely a challenge.
What do you mean by that? So when you say it's skinny,
the width of the track is right. It's actually physically a lot skinnier than our North Island tracks we're used to.
Right, so if I'm looking at it from an above shot here, yeah, okay. Oh, no, okay, so now I see what you mean. It's literally in a drift car, it's almost like 2.5, 3 car widths wide max. So when we're looking at battles, as we watch Vinny Singh come through for his first pass, I'm not going to talk too technical as we just watch these first few qualifying passes here of Pro Sport. Just going to give you a flavour of what's going on out there. But you're right, it probably is only 2.5, 3 cars wide. It isn't going to leave a lot of room for errors in battle, is it?
That's right. It doesn't leave much margin at all, chasing you to be very careful and not lock yourself out. Otherwise you end up on the track limits and over on the grass, so that's definitely one of the challenges. The chase car's got to do a lot of minding of the lead car.
Right.
And the judges also have a big emphasis on that. The chase car cannot aim for that front wheel this year.
Are you able to give us some insight into that as a driver? Obviously 3 different judges this year. For those of you who haven't been across the news, we welcome Darren Kelly as our head judge this year. Andrew Redwood returns, Taylor James. By my reckoning, between those 3, at least 50 event wins across New Zealand.
Correct.
And internationally, so a lot of knowledge up there. They have kind of laid out some quite different criteria for this year, haven't they?
That's right. There's some talent up there in the judges' box, and that's what we needed. We needed drivers that have driven the tracks, and that's obviously going to be shown over the next couple of rounds. But the criteria they've come out with is great, especially for this track. Very tricky for them to be able to set up 2 tracks in just 3 days. We swapped the tracks around this morning for round 2's practice first thing. So yeah.
That's going to be weird, isn't it? Because so we probably should explain that it is a double header round. It is it is a double header round down here at Invercargill. So there is only the single qualifying, and what will happen effectively is your result of battles tomorrow will set where you qualify for round number 2, which happens on Sunday. In past we have had that kind of dual qualifying setup, but this time it's been deemed as one qualifier, one and done. Now I have been advised there is a unique announcement as well, in that there are a number of drivers who will simply leave the line in a borrowed car that will qualify them for battles tomorrow. They then don't have to battle, but because they have qualified for the field, they're able to fix their own primary car and come back and compete on Sunday. So that's something quite different that we haven't seen before, and it is in keeping with the rules. It doesn't penalise any of the other drivers who are competing like yourself for tomorrow, but it does allow, for instance, one name I have at the top of my tongue is David Hunter. So David Hunter will drive off the line. He won't battle tomorrow, but then he'll be able to fix his car and come back on Sunday.
Okay.
Unless, of course, whoever's car he qualifies and wants to let him actually battle tomorrow, and that's, I mean, as somebody who's done that before, Benny, as we talked about during the week. Who did you let beat on that car? What's that guy's name? Daniel. Yeah, Fanger Dan.
That's
Fanger
right.
Dan.
That's right. Back in Manfield a long time ago, a little less than he.
It was a while ago. Alright, so one of the local boys about to have a crack at qualifying here. So you'll see the drivers in batches. This is... Well, I was going to say that that was Liam Higgins, but is that Liam Higgins?
I believe that is Liam Higgins. Road Rubber and Tyre and Auto, doing a lot of driving of late. This man, he's been up in the North Island, I've seen, doing drift wars. So I think he's got a bit of talent behind the wheel, and a local Christchurch boy. Road Rubber's is a local business, isn't it? I believe so. Yep. I believe it's a new business in Christchurch, supplying a lot of those boys, Dylan James and things like that with their tyres. So it's great to see these boys getting involved.
Oh, great. Well, it's good that Benny's got this knowledge. As somebody who's been watching quite a lot of series, I've lost track of what I've seen, to be fair, after watching quite a few things between World Time Attack and MSC, and we're here at D1 this weekend, and then we go back to MSC, and then we go to Summer Bash. And this is a guy that I've been told to watch, Sheldon Neal.
He's a peddler.
Just watch him go.
I've driven with Sheldon before. He's a talent behind the wheel. He's won many Drift South rounds up there at Ruapuna and around here. He's driven down here before. This is SR20. I think it makes about 300 and something kilowatt, but he can pedal, so this will be a great lap.
Is that a little nostalgic tear in the corner of the eye there, Benny? The S13, the SR20,
yeah,
the big old wing on the back there, bringing back some memories. Yours would have been bright orange, of course.
That's right. Mine was bright orange. One of his crew members actually bought my old S13 off me, Sean Binnemer, so this should be a great lap. He's driven here quite a few times before, he told me this morning, so it should be.
Yeah, I had a really interesting chat with Sheldon too, and he's definitely a driver's driver. He was talking about kind of that old school mix of getting, the way he kind of explained it is it's just a middle car, right? It's not the right to the extremes pro car where it's got everything under the sun thrown at it, but he just drives it so well and so consistently. Seeing that come through here, he just looks at a little smooth, maybe a bit of a straight line through there, just didn't quite have that speed to continue that flow. Now that's what you were talking about before, right? That just shows that local knowledge, right? Able to crank it out to angle there. It's a beautiful looking car. It reminds me almost got that sort of Dino Young vibe from last year.
Yeah, it's got a Hero Prince Ash Westmoreland livery on it. He's been working on that.
Hero Prince?
Yeah.
What's that? Talk to me about, what's your Hero Prince,
Hero Prince, he designed some of the best cars in the world, I reckon.
Best cars in the world? Those are big words, mate.
He's a talent, mate. He's a talent.
Alrighty, so Vineet Singh, Vinny from up North End Automotive, backed Machine 350Z, going through now for his second pass of qualifying. Now, I will give you some qualifying scores as soon as I get them through, and that will be a 3, followed by a recovery, Benny.
These poor boys, I think these boys have just miscalculated their grip. It definitely looked like Vinny there jumping into that turn 1. Look, that car looks here overly gripped up. So watch this.
Explain this to me, Benny. Overly gripped.
It's too gripped in the rear. It snapped him and it sent him straight. And he's obviously holding the handbrake now, and he's just a passenger straight into the sand trap.
So is there anything you can do as a driver? Is there any way to recover that, or once it's gone, kind of?
It depends how fast it sort of goes. You can reinitiate, but by the time he touched that front wheel onto that mud on the inside here, I would say it was all over. But you can just see it's just straightening up on him.
Yeah. and right there it's understeered and gone straight ahead, so it's out of drift and it's a 0 by then anyway, right? And
That's
at
right.
that point he's just holding on. So as Benny predicted, Sheldon Neal comes out, throws 75.2 for his first pass.
Nice.
Cody Lineham was I think he was driving the Dan Smith car.
That's correct. The Dan Smith car is up next.
So he got a 48, and then Vineet and Liam both have 1s so far. So Sheldon Neal, the early pace setters were expected, and then there is young Cody Lineham. What I'm expecting right now is the chat box on Oversteer TV, which you can comment in if you are a subscriber. Will be blowing up right now for young Cody Lineham, who will have plenty of support out there in live stream land. Where's that Joyce guy?
I don't know
Where
what
is
guy's
he?
doing. I think he's having a year off and doing some of his own events. You know, that man, he's been a bit everywhere. He is building a new car, a new S13.
I was just thinking he was maybe like old and washed up already or something. Or when you're old and washed up, you join commentary though, eh, Benny?
Apparently.
But you're doing it a different way, mate. You're doing it a different way because you're still driving. If you are in the live stream chat too, now Kenny is not here with us. He's doing daddy things this weekend, so Kenny's not here. If you're in the chat box, he's keeping an eye on it though. Let us know where you're tuned in from around the world. It's always interesting to know who's watching drifting down here in little old New Zealand as we watch Cody Lineham for the second time. The reason that there is some pasty repairs on the side there is just, obviously this is a family event down in the bottom of the South Island here, and we are in Invercargill Licensing Trust territory, so thank you to Invercargill Licensing Trust for supporting the event. Is there a technical term for that one, Benny? She's just gone.
That's right, she's just gone. Got onto the wet grass there. Looks like a bit of an overcorrection. He's obviously ended up on the grass there, just trying to get out. Luckily, if you got out of there, it'd be still pretty wet on that grass down that back corner.
Is there a way to, I mean, is that a lack of heat in the front tyres? What are these guys likely to be running on the front there? Because there's no restriction in Pro Sport, is it? You can run a semi-slick front tyre in Pro Sport?
Yes, you can. You can still run a semi-slick on the front.
Right, but obviously it takes a bit of experience to get the heat into those as well, right? Like I remember we used to, like Damon Templeman, circuit racer of old, used to try and get those fronts really hot as we watched Liam Higgins, road rubber, tyre and auto. This is nostalgic, my friend. This is nostalgic. How good is this smoke blowing off the back of a big old chassis down here in the deep south? It might not be perfect, but that's put a smile on my face.
Yeah.
Right? This is why we fall in love with the sport. Just watching stuff like that, it takes me back to like what you were talking about, falling in love with drifting, right? Back in the day where you could buy a car like that for $500.
That's right.
Yeah,
Probably.
Wouldn't be that now, but I mean, win an event these days, and you end up with Benny Jenkins tax on it. It'd be 50 grand if it was a Benny Jenkins Zafiro or Laurel, right?
I don't know about that.
Maybe not. Maybe 15 grand. All right, the Delhi boys, another one. Now you identified Mitch as one to watch.
Yeah.
What makes you think that?
They're just a talented family that all know how to steer a car, so it's good to see Mitch joining the Pro Sport ranks to be able to drive a familiar chassis for me, a GT86. I think it's got a dirty old V8 underneath it.
You can hear that one there. I'm not sure if it's an LS2 or LS3 in that particular car. I think that car may also be doing double duties this weekend because we have been advised that Clayton Daly, unfortunately, his primary car is not on song, and he'll be jumping into one of the other team cars this weekend.
Cool. So they bought enough cars down on their truck, so they've got plenty to pick from, but unfortunate that Clayton's obviously had to retire that Supra. I think he had a minor mechanical.
Yeah, it sounded like it was a legitimate kind of a mechanical thing, right? Like just a part that's usual story, right? What is it, 10 cent parts? Let me take a look at the replay here as you see some overhead shots of Teretonga. I would say the sun coming out is probably not the correct expression, but the GT Radial replay here is definitely showing that the dry line is now emerging, which Ben referenced earlier. Ben Jenkins on commentary with me for Pro Sport for all of the season here, and Ben's just, I love watching the drive. Yeah, what did you see? It interests me that you guys can't see Ben's body language, but he leaned straight into the screen there because he saw something. I want to know what it was. What did you see in that replay?
It's just the style of wheel, I think, on the back of that car, that when it's actually spinning around, it looked like that the tyre had debeaded. It was about to come off the rim. That's what I was looking at.
That's what you're looking for, because
I think it's just the style of wheel and how dark it is.
Because the tyre, so you have to run within the D1NZ rules a minimum tyre pressure 14.9 psi, is it? Is that right?
1 bar, yeah.
1 bar, yeah, 14.9. So, yeah, interesting that Ben picked that up, and that's why he's here, the eagle eyes on the driver. Now, how good do these cars look? The Floyd Brothers FBR, I guarantee right now the chat box on Oversteer TV will be going mental for the Floyd Brothers. Benny and Weston, a couple of very likeable brothers, and they're real characters. They're a heap of fun, and those cars are just beautiful in that purple. They've got Civic generators on board for FBR for the season. Now that is an aborted run there, so with that straight number, I think you'll probably see this one just score a 1 there. I don't think it'll be scored as a complete pass. And if is to put an exclamation mark on that, that's I'm going to call that. You haven't had one of these yet, Ben. That's called a commentator's curse. You and your brother have blamed me for several of those over the years. I know this because I still probably have the abusive messages.
Yeah, so I've deleted you off.
You've deleted me, just blocked
social media.
Yeah, fair enough. So do you reckon he's going to give that cone back? That's going to have to be replaced. Alrighty, so we go back to the score sheet. Sheldon Neal hasn't come back through for secondary. Oh, you got, this is why I like having Benny in the box. He's got, what do you got, mate? Hotline to the pits. What's the info?
Yeah, unfortunately, Cody blew a clutch line. Guy Maxwell just giving me a message, so he's had some clutch master issues there, unfortunately. Here we go, another Laurel jumping in. Another one of the South Island boys, is it?
Unfortunately, we're not fully across all the South Island drivers. We sort of flew in and kind of jumped on the broadcast here, but I tell you what, it's aggressive.
That was going all right.
Where's that going? That's going all the way back. That's going back to Picton. That one's going to Picton.
That one, it's the south side of the track. That's going up.
So that is how you promote your sponsors, Benny. You slide across the screen like that and just heavy diesel support Jesco on the side of that entry there. Just giving maximum exposure time for your sponsors here at D1NZ. Round number 1 for the National Drifting Championships. Round 1 and 2 back to back. Sheldon Neal. So here's another change that has come about through qualifying this year. Sheldon Neal has called 5 minutes in qualifying. So in past you haven't been able to do that, but new rule for this year we did. So there was a lot of. What most people probably don't understand is that there is a drivers effectively forum in the background where drivers are asked for things that they want to bring in place, things are discussed, some things get implemented, not everything does, but one of the rules that has been implemented for this season is a 5 minute rule in qualifying, which enables drivers to take a 5 minute if for mechanical or safety reasons are unable to complete that second run. It's really a safety thing, I think. It's probably why you want people doing that as opposed to running around out there with a wheel leaking or a hose off or something. As we watch Mitchell Daly, RHP. Benny, how do you tell the difference between a GT and a GR86?
Headlights and tail lights, the main thing. Different looks on them. Yeah. Quite good look in the new GR86s.
Yeah. If you do say so yourself, best in orange. For sale, one careful Jenkins owner.
That's right, that's right.
×2. Set up a whole team. Ship them anywhere in the world. Will include signed Ben Jenkins t-shirt. You laugh because you think I'm kidding. Ben's currently drafting that out on Trade Me now. We could even throw in a Troy Jenkins t-shirt too if you bought both t-shirts. If you bought both cars, 2 cars, 2 t-shirts. What do you reckon?
Could do.
Yeah,
there's always a deal to be had.
Do you want to throw in your spotter too?
No.
Throw in Craig Marshall. Throw in Wiggins. Crew members? No.
No way.
No. Can't buy the whole operation.
No way.
Could you arrive and drive? Here, I'm going to throw this out there because there are people from all over the world as we watch the GT radio replay here of Mitch Daly just sending it.
Yeah, I don't know really what happened there. He sort of over-rotated going into that zone and it ended up just losing on the back. He obviously trying to pull the handbrake to slow it up, but yeah, these poor Pro Sport boys, I think quite a few of them just miscalculated how grippy this track is after we had all that rain. So quite a few of them are actually struggling there.
Any other goss from the pits, Benny? I like the fact you're plugged in there. Anything else coming through? He's had some info on Cody. We know about Sheldon. Obviously, if any drivers are tuned in there, drop Benny a message or drop me a message if there are things that are possibly going to impact on your qualifying. Now that is a slow roll off the line. Is this going to be another 5 minute call possibly?
Maybe.
Because he hasn't gone to initiate and it did look like he just kind of rolled away, right? Like it was never, 5 minute call there for, I think that's Ben, I think it'll be Ben Floyd. That is Ben Floyd.
Western Floyd. Yeah, the new
Race control said 5-minute call for Floyd, but that's both of them. So yeah, not sure if it's Ben or West. Ben or Weston that are there.
The new 5-minute call is great. It is great if you need to exercise using it, but it's also bad for spectators to be able to have to watch and waiting for cars. But I believe the rule entails they have 5 minutes to get the issue sorted. Yes. By the time they get into pit lane, and they have to make it back to the lines. Here's the other Skyline. This is the brother.
Yeah, this is Weston this time. It's Weston Floyd. Active arrow on the back there, but as long as it stays down, it's fine within the rules. It just can't flap around in the battle, should be my understanding. It's not bad here from Weston Floyd. He's going to bank a score at the moment. He's maintained angle throughout the drift run here. Hopefully they didn't just put a big hex on him. He's a lot further down the track than the previous runners have been. So a complete run there for Weston Floyd. I guarantee the Floyd racing team, the FBR team, will be loud and proud in the chat box right now, Benny. I do appreciate this team out of West Auckland. They have some real characters within them. We've seen them before. They honed their craft at MSC. Saw both of them there. Ben Floyd, I think, destroyed a motor off the top of my head at rounds 1 and 2, and then finally got to drive at round number 3 and put it like almost straight on the podium. Here is Sheldon Neal. This is good. He's back out. He is currently provisionally leading 75.2. Mike Greer Holmes all over the side of the Sheldon Neal machine. See some support there from placemakers as well. So good to see some big brands on the side of the Sheldon Neal machine. And as Benny said, one of the drivers really to watch here. And you've got to think that if Sheldon Neal gets some results, that's going to drive some dollars into the bank account. Maybe we get to see him at Pukekohe, maybe we get to see him at Gizzy, maybe we get to see him at Bay Park, and could we see our first ever South Island D1NZ champion?
It could be good. Sheldon obviously being a great peddler, it'd be great to see him do the rest of the season. He'll love Pukekohe and an SR20.
Yeah, you know a thing or two about that? Done that before?
It's an amazing place for an SR. Carl Ruderman obviously 2 minutes down the road, the original pioneer of the SR20 in New Zealand, so hopefully we'll see him back at Pukekohe as well.
So just getting a message through that the pink car is Weston, the blue is Ben, so there we go. So that's good to know. So we also had to go through this before with the VIP boys, so the blue is Dan, and Sam is in the other black and silver car.
Just watching here, these boys struggling a little bit to get out to outer zone 3.
What do they do? Like, as a pro sport, what's it when you can't do anything to your setup? Is it just a driver mindset? Do you just?
I think there's definitely a lot they can do to their setups. These pro sport cars these days, you know, they're all up to 600-700 horsepower anyway. A lot of them have quick changes and things like that. I don't think this Invercargill local fella does have that sort of thing to be able to change his gear ratios, but there's a lot of things you can do to get it out there. But I think the main thing I'm seeing with a lot of these boys is that they just look like they've got a bit too much tyre grip. Yeah,
so that's Jeremy White. So Sheldon Neal provisionally 1, 73.2. Liam Higgins provisionally 2, 65.8. Ben Floyd 52.2. Mitchell Daly 50.4. Cody Lynham 48. Jeremy White, Vinette Singh and Weston Floyd all with a single point at this junction in qualifying. S15, something else that you're familiar with there, Ben?
Yeah, nice and tidy S15 with
this
orange lab arrow.
I think this is Rob Neely, another South Island competitor. I appreciate, he's a man after my own heart. I read on his form he put that I'm a grumpy old man. That is his hobby, is being a grumpy old man. And that's producing some tyre smoke. He's going to hold that. Flirted with the edge of the track there, Ben. Did he exceed the track limit? I don't think he really did.
Very close to check the replay, but it was not too bad of a lap there for Rob to grab some points for his first run. And that nice and tidy S15 there. I don't know what's in that car, but it's definitely some sort of 6-cylinder.
I can find that out for you, mate. Let me just dial up the old information sheet that has been provided. As Benny will talk you through the GT radio replay here. Did he get out to the edge of the track, Ben?
See the slide. Slight touch for Rob there on the track edge. So that'll be in the judges' hands that they're going to mark down, because they have asked us to be 1 to 1.5 metres off the edges of the track. As we saw this morning, we had a couple of divots created, which then turned dangerous.
Right. Yeah, they did get quite deep, didn't they?
That's correct. Yeah, out of zone 3 was pretty.
Rob Neely is a VQ33 DET, which is an HRE built VQ30 DET with a VQ35 DE crank.
I did not expect you to say that.
And it's estimated somewhere approximately at 600 horsepower.
Wow.
Currently has no sponsors, and therefore if you would like to get involved and see yourself on TV, then talk to Rob Neely's team before tomorrow. See the road runner entries now out on track. This should be Josh La Rosa. He is he's a Mexican wrestler in his part-time. Now here's a guy that's a story. Tiger White returns to D1NZ after winning a round back in 2007 when Ben Jenkins was 2 years old. I made that up just on the spot because I can't remember how old you are, Benny, but Tiger White has been on the podium before at D1NZ, and how...
He's going to make the wall. Oh, poor Tiger there. That was lucky it was the back end if that was going to be anything.
What happened? That was weird.
I do not know what's just happened there. That's an unfortunate end to his first run. He'll be needing to call a
definitely a
5-minute call. But yeah, Tiger White, the mechanic for VIP, Team VIP. Here we go.
What
Let's have a
happened?
look.
Did it just not come back?
Slow transition. It just didn't transition. It just did not switch.
Yeah.
He tried,
And then the front wheels are on the grass when he tried. Yeah, he's just in the wrong position, and once the front wheels on the grass, it's just sucked him in.
That's right. And then you're a passenger. Once you get on that grass, you're just a passenger wherever it's going to stop. Interesting. Hopefully Tiger can get that sorted for his next lap, because he can pedal a car, that man.
Definitely can. This is another of the South Island boys again. This will be Bradley Knight for Chopper's Tyres. Bradley Knight for Chopper's Tyres. Channeling some Hulk vibes here with the green all over the R32.
See if he can get out to outer zone 4.
It looks like he's carrying some
zone.
speed.
Possible slight drop as he comes through the last turn into that. On the apex of that last turn, there's still a little bit of a puddle there too. So if you grab that with your front tyres, you might have a little bit of a slip.
Yep, so if you have just tuned in, this is the D1NZ National Drifting Championship, round number 1 qualifying. Warren Sear in commentary with the one and only Ben Jenkins, who's joining me for the entire Pro Sport series this season. He'll be driving in Pro and joining me for commentary, of course, in Pro. I saw him called the 205 King this morning, Keisuke Nagashima. So Keisuke Nagashima will be joining me in the box around 5 o'clock this afternoon for Pro qualifying, as Benny will go get suited and booted, put his helmet on and go out there and throw down some laps. I'm just trying to work out as we watch Rob Neely here whether this is giving you an unfair advantage, Ben, watching all these laps, getting a read on track conditions.
That's right, it's actually a good thing. I never watch any laps when I come to competition, so
No,
I'm always,
not at all. You're just busy.
I'm always busy working away, so I've got a great team working on my car. Now I can sit here and watch and talk about these talented Pro Sport drivers.
Rob Neely with the unique engine. That was a different style of entry, wasn't it? What would you call it? Because he kind of just coasted in rather than a full noise engine. You saw the car jolt and sink down in the back there. I don't know if that's the power delivery of the way that this car makes power or whatever, but yeah, as you heard us mention earlier, the HRE built very unique VQ engine underneath the bonnet of the Rob Neely machine. We switch now back to Josh La Rosa, Roadrunner Panel and Paint, sponsoring this entry. So I also said earlier in the week that he grew up in Auckland, but he moved down south for a quieter life and now enjoys his time down here behind the wheel of his drift car in between maintaining his lifestyle blog. So choosing the peaceful life down here in Invercargill. We are, of course, in the bottom of the South Island of New Zealand if you are tuned in from around the world. So if you have a look at the map, look right at the bottom and that's where we are, and it's about 12 degrees at the moment. Benny, you and I are okay because we're in the air-conditioned commentary box, but it's pretty cold outside. Tiger White's come straight around, so the team have obviously deemed that car safe, but she's not looking so flash in the back there, Ben.
Oh,
she's shortened.
Yeah, she's shortened a little bit. The boots popped up, but let's see what Tiger can do. Nice and tidy initiation there. He just didn't get out to those zones the boys have been asking for. Transitioning up to the 3. it sort of like he got in that zone, but obviously missing that. That is very critical, that zone 4, to be able to finish the track off nicely, and the judges have told us about that. You need to make sure you get that zone correct to enable you to finish the track.
Yeah, the important thing there though is that Tiger has banked a score, which will be very important for him as he moves into the battles tomorrow. So we don't quite have a full 32. We have, as we watch the GT Radio replay, actually we do. We have 33 cars for 32 fields, so someone's going to miss out potentially, Ben, unless there's a mechanical. Yeah, that's a new one. As we watch Tiger White, this time keeps it on the track. Mate, as a driver, having backed it into the wall, what is that aero doing to your run as you try and attack the section? Is it upsetting you quite a lot? Is it kind of a hang on and hope? Or?
Something like a boot pop like that, there's not going to be much of an issue if the wing had come off maybe. But, it looks like it was all straight. Chopper's tyres, R32, did a nice job of filling those two zones. This is a tidy lap from this R32.
I think this, so is this Bradley Knight? This is Bradley Knight, who we were talking about before. Bradley Knight provisionally at the moment is the #1 qualifier with an 83.4. So Bradley Knight on the second pass here. We talked about how fast it was and how much more aggressive it was, and the judges obviously liking that from for Bradley Knight. So Bradley Knight is 1, 83.4. Sheldon Neal remains 2 with a 73.2. That time around, Bradley Knight only 69.6. We then drop to Liam Higgins, 65.8, Tiger White, 65.2, Ben Floyd, 52.2, Mitchell Daly, 50.4, Cody Lynham, 48. It's Jamie Carr out of the Taranaki region. They don't build bad-looking cars in Taranaki, do they?
That's right.
They can build a pretty slick car. Home of the West Side Rotor Boys, of course, and a few other notable drift names from over the years. Shout out to Adam Richards, Tony Bremen, Brad, if you're tuned in and listening. Ross Honor as well will be there with Liam was never much good, to be fair. Liam Honor was pretty average, but he was popular with the ladies. He was 12 at the time, but anyway, we won't talk about that.
Yeah, a bit of a tidy lap there from Jamie Carr, as we hopefully might see the replay and see what happened on the entry. Maybe just not enough commitment.
I love how fast these judges are. Jamie Carr straight away 57.4. So we're just locking in. We're locking in and flying through them. You did ask me, Ben, earlier if I thought the judges would be fast this year, and mate, they're fast. They're flying through this.
That's good. I think this is Brendan Fisher out of Christchurch from the V8 powered S14. Just a little bit off the clips there, but he's trying to finish this lap off to bank a point. I see quite a few of these drivers are dipping their front wheel into that little puddle, and I think some of them are getting a little bit of a scare as they exit the section.
So let's take a look at the replay of Barry. He's called Barry. I'm going to assume that that's probably what's underneath the bond. It'll be a Barra motor, potentially, for Opposite Lock Motorsports. I did have a look through our entry data earlier, and yeah, there was one driver who was very much a Barra advocate. It was either him or John Atwood.
Speaking of Barras, here we go.
Oh, there we go. Back to back Barrys. D1 Laurel, John Atwood, the L Branch Fabrication sponsored C33 Laurel, which Ethan Faithful, of course, put that car on the podium in Pro at Bay Park last year. So great to see John Atwood enjoying his own car down here in the deep south, and another who has made a massive haul down here from the far north of the North Island.
Not too bad of a lap there from John. Definitely a touch wavery, but
he's done some time driving in D1 WA, right? So GT Radio replay here. Benny, what do you see out of this run?
Just having a look at the entries, a little bit off where they want us coming through that turn 1, but as he comes round into the high speed section.
You've referenced us a couple of times, so the line, just to confirm, the line is effectively the same for Pro Sport and Pro.
That's correct.
Just wanted to confirm that for our viewers, because sometimes we do see the subtle differences. But, now, this is a story in itself, isn't it? The Dylan Rastrick car being driven by Trent Elmbranch due to Trent Elmbranch driving he traded a car with John's all the way down from Whangarei only to have mechanical issues in testing on Thursday night, right? Dylan Rastrick stepped up in the risk taker's car and said, Trent, go and do some driving. You come this far, and do some driving he is. He was, I think he was a bit late on the entry there, but
yeah, he's had some issues there.
He probably, what has he driven 4 laps today or something?
Yeah, that is a pretty well put together car by Dylan and Troy Campbell up in Christchurch. It's got a bit of gear in it, so yeah, hopefully he can figure that out for his lap too, because I know it's got a whole lot of great gearbox. That thing should be able to do a ripper lap of Teretonga here, but Trent doing well. We're coming to grips with it as fast as he can, and especially with being raining all day and jumping straight into the dry this afternoon.
You do have that little soft spot for the 13s, don't you?
Definitely.
Here's another one. The RB power underneath the bottom of the Jamie Carr machine out of the Taranaki. Big old wing on the back. Is that the big? Is it the big country? No,
big country. Like it. I think
just a big wing. Just a big wing again. This is too. I mean, it's tidy. It's nothing majorly wrong with it. It's just not spectacular, right? It doesn't jump out and grab you like that one from the R32 from the Bradley Knight before we saw it in the green machine.
Yeah, the boys are just struggling a touch here, filling a couple of the zones. Outer zone three there needed to be a bit deeper.
John Atwood straight away to P3, 71.4. Rob Neely, 67 and P4. Jamie Carr, 59, and then a 57.4. Josh LaRosa, double ones. Jeremy White, double ones. Vineet Singh, double ones. Trent Elmbranch with a 1, so it wasn't incomplete. And Weston Floyd with an incomplete. Now, did we not see Weston for a second pass? Okay, so that's interesting. So this is Brendan Fisher.
Yeah, Brendan there just being a little shallow on the zones as well.
Not faster though.
Not filling 3 and 4, but yeah, it's definitely got a bit of grunt. This car, Guy Maxwell is bringing it to my attention. This is the old Drew and Jody D1NZ car from years ago.
Oh, right. So this is the pre-Supra car.
Correct. Yes.
Correct. Right. So Drew's first car was the green 13, and then there was the 14 they built, I think, and then the twin Supras, which are both still floating around, aren't they, but slightly different configurations. John Atwood, now can John Atwood potentially improve here from provisionally position number 3 in qualifying? There'll be some Northlanders and some West Australians tuned in at the moment. John's a machine operator by trade, but he certainly knows his way around a spanner as well, and he's put together a more than, oh, look at this, just flirting with the edge, the big old dirt turbo on the big 4-door. This is again channeling those nostalgia vibes, and he cranks the lock on. That is that would be whangarei on a Friday night, any day of the week through the 2000s, 2010s, as those Drift Court boys were coming up on through. Great to see John Atwood out there doing it. And I did spy, I think, some Drift Corp stickers maybe going on a couple of those cars as well. So carrying on the bloodline, so to speak, Benny.
That's right. Justin Rood, I saw him putting some stickers on Trent's Camaro and then John's Laurel. So yeah, he'll be watching from up in Auckland. That was looking pretty tidy into that dirt drop. I tell you, the John Atwood, one of the judges is going to mark him down for that little dirt turbo coming through out of zone. Past out of zone 4.
I reckon they're reviewing it maybe just because it didn't lock in real quick. Like, I think it would have locked in straight away if they were confident. I think they're going to have a look at that maybe, but I think maybe Trent Elmbranch has just been released a little bit faster than they expected. Speaking of fast, I love seeing that big billow of smoke emerging. It means that dry line's out there. It means the track conditions are starting to come back to us as we build towards pro qualifying. That's got to excite you as a driver, Benny, of course, as we build through the development series into pro qualifying later this afternoon. Starting to see those lines emerge.
That's right. That's right. It's good to see some dry lines. Smoke here.
John Atwood's second score, 82, goes to Divisional 2.
Well done.
So I think he cost himself the #1 spot by that the little dirt flirt with the edge. This will be Tyler West.
Tyler just clipping that cone, but I don't know. I think he kept that on the track there. It might have just been a body panel clipping that cone.
Yeah, you've got to be really careful, don't you, with the way that the judges prescribe these lines now. As you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Ben, with the trench appearing on the edge of the track, the judges and race control have been very specific as to where you can position the car. They don't want wheels dropped off the edge. They don't want potentially a tyre digging in or something like that. So it'd be interesting if we do get a replay here to see how close Tyler West did get. Tyler West is a MSC champion in the Fleet Tyres sponsored machine with the 2JZ underneath the bonnet. He and Aaron Habib have just come back from Matsuri week in Japan, so great to see them flying straight in and straight to the track to do battle.
That's it, yeah. Tyler West, talented driver, done a lot of laps around the MSC Challenge in Mary. He actually lives just up the road from me. We grew up together, old Tyler, so he's a talent behind the wheel, definitely.
I do love winding Tyler up. It's always a fun thing because I always say it with love, right? Because I always think angry Tyler drives so much better than nice jovial Tyler. Like when you watch him, when he was so protective of that car when it was first built and he didn't want anyone hitting it. And then the first time someone drilled his door and he kind of got grumpy about it, that's when he came out and he just was really an animal to battle against. And that's the Tyler that I love seeing drive. He knows it. He knows I say these things too. He's okay with it. So look, let's take a look at recap of some scores as we change over between groups. Young Z, Zalia Mir out on track, the authentic Honeyco C33 Laurel, about to do some more laps here in the D1NZ National Drifting Championship Development Series, 235 wide radial tyres. It is Bradley Knight sitting atop the Pro Sports at the moment with 83.4 from John Atwood on 82. Then we have Brendan Fisher, Sheldon Neal, Trent Albranch up to 5 with a 70.2, Rob Neely 67, Liam Higgins, Tiger White, Tyler West 62.8, Jamie Carr 59, Ben Floyd, Mitchell Daly, Cody Lynham, Josh LaRossa, Jeremy White, Vineet Singh and Weston Floyd with the single pass only at the moment. Now I don't know, I would assume that that's going to be the only pass he's going to make, because if he's called as 5 and he hasn't come back out, then I think that will actually mean that he doesn't get to complete his second run.
That's right. As we see, there's maybe an issue going on here with the Daniel Smith car, maybe.
I think they might just be having to make some modifications maybe to the vehicle just for possibly let's not hypothesize at the moment. I think maybe
there we go. No, he's okay.
Thank you to the Invercargill Licensing Trust, by the way, for supporting us this weekend here at Invercargill as we come to the Deep South, and thank you to all of our D1NZ series partners, including a few new ones that we welcome aboard. We'll go through those fully tomorrow as we move to our full Sky broadcast along with KO in Australia. We're also going live to Pacific Direct to the Pacific Islands, so be good to be back on all those partners, along with Oversteer TV, where of course you can buy the premium subscription for $9.99. You will need that to watch the pro battles tomorrow. Pretty good value, really, isn't it, Benny? Like, I think I'd pay $9 to watch you drive, mate.
Yeah.
All right, Z. Young Zalia, 18 years of age, and she's aggressive on the big flick in, but she kept it in drift. There was a wave, but she's come back out to it. She flirts with the outside of the track there, still keeps it on the loud pedal there. She is struggling to hold it at angle at the moment, Benny, but I think if I just troops do, I want to say this is going to be a complete run. I hope this is a complete run for Young Z.
As it come back out, she just struggled to get that car.
Did it come out fully?
I'd say
this is what
be pretty honest.
You're in the commentary box,
there,
mate. You're in the commentary box, so you're entitled to an opinion. Yes.
Well, it's an unchaseable lead, is what it comes down to.
Okay. So let's have a look at the replay here. So Zalia Mir. So I like that big. I don't know what I got to call it, a ghetto flick or something, right? It's just that's what you'd see someone do on a Friday night, just in an expression session type thing. And she's just playing with the gas, just trying to keep it out there and drift. There's a couple of waivers and things, like it's not going to be a perfect run by any means, but the question was, would it be completed? But the replay cuts off because we have moved straight to Johnny Burns in the Albranch Fabrication sponsored S.
That's correct. It's an S14 with an S15 front and rear.
Right. So well done, Johnny, for trying to confuse me. So I'm bound to get that What will happen now is in the live stream chat box, someone's going to go, no, it's a 14, it's a 15. And like, we'll argue about it. But anyway.
This thing has a pretty highly strung SR20 in it. I haven't had a chance to look at it, but it's got a VE head on it. So that'll have a lot of grunt, that car. Pretty cool sounding too, and it's cool to see.
I thought you were going to say
4 cylinders.
A pretty highly strung driver as well. Because Johnny's a bit of an entertainer. He's a character. He certainly hasn't been shy about saying that he has aspirations to do big things in the drift world. So good on him. I mean, you don't get anywhere if you don't ask, right?
That's right. That's right.
You didn't get to where you got to by sitting on the sidelines, did you, mate?
No. No way.
Look where it's led you. Commentary box with me.
Commentary box with you for the afternoon.
Yeah.
And in Invercargill.
You've peaked in life. Bottom of the South Island with the bottom of the barrel commentator. We can laugh at ourselves. It's fine. You can't take yourself too seriously on a Friday afternoon. Hopefully some of you are enjoying a refreshment or two, tuning in to watch some D1NZ National Drifting Championship Development Series action. These are the 235 radial cars. So these are the guys who are perhaps making their competition debuts or just refining their technique before they step up into pro. As we watch Tyler West Fleet tyres coming through in his S14 2JZ underneath the bonnet. Big old turbo on the side. It makes about 800 horsepower, and Tyler certainly can pedal when he knows his way around the battle too, Benny. And this is looking good. I reckon if he can hold this one here, this might threaten Bradley Knight for that provisional #1 there. Should he have been on the gas slightly more through there?
Maybe a touch, but they have asked us to be around that last corner, as Tyler just did, to be mid-track. So Tyler maybe just a little bit more than mid-track, but this is going to score highly.
Yeah, so this is where Benny's technical expertise comes in. So talk me through this, Ben. What's he doing? Where's he placing the car? What's he doing?
It was a very nice initiation for him. He was within the 1 to 1.5 metres from that clipping zone. The second zone was great, and as he comes in here to 4, that was a great approach to out of zone 4. Maybe left it a touch early, which then upset his switch into the last corner. But hey, that was a tight lap from my man Tyler. That could be knocking on in the top 3.
You always want to see your mates do well too, don't you? So Azalea Mir in the Daddy Money Laurel. Authentic Honey Co on the side. It is a family-owned and run business, and I'm quite keen to get a hold of some of that honey. I hear it goes real good on some low and slow smoked pork ribs. Barbecue enthusiast says, you know, this is way better from Zalia Mir here. That's going to be complete, Benny. Surely that one's nice. Yeah, that's tidy, right? That's a confidence builder, that one.
It is indeed. It's great to see she grabbed some points there in qualifying.
Yeah. So the first run was declared a 1, as was Daniel Smith's. We had a Tyler West 73.8 and 62.8. But this is much better from Zalia Mir here. Mir Metalworks on the front there, and I love the blue. I don't know what kind of blue you call it. It's not Bayside blue, baby blue, some sort of blue. I'm going to call it Mir blue for now. We'll call it Z blue. There we go. We'll call it Z blue. I get to give it commentator's license. Zalia Mir. Probably not what the judges asked for, but it kept it in drift, and much tidier run there from young Zalia, and that importantly locks Zalia Mir 60.6. Zalia 60.6, and every run she gets better. Every run she gets better. She finds her limits and she develops as a driver, which is all you can ask for.
That's right. This
is another one of the.
This is Tyler Knowles.
Tyler Knowles. So last year he was part of the. With Curtis Lilly with the Placemakers colours on the side. New sponsors this year for Tyler Knowles.
That's correct.
He's a pretty entertaining character to follow on social media too, isn't he, Tyler Knowles? He gets up to, I think I saw, and I don't think I'm saying anything out of turn, but I think I saw something from Bay Park. I think he spent the entire 72-hour period in his race suit. is the thing I got sent, and I think it was true, because he was just from finishing the car to driving to repairing it to just, I guess it's to, like, as a driver, right, you're so engrossed in the moment, you just keep going, and that changing clothes would be the last thing you'd be thinking about, right?
Definitely for me though, if I'm going to be working on my car, it's the first thing is you're out of your nice suit. Expensive things these days, but see what Tyler Knowles can do with his SR20 S14. Trying to initiate, just didn't initiate on that first initial drag of the handbrake, but seems to have it in drift now.
Flame and body shop on the side of the Tyler Knowles machine. That's an old school sound, isn't it? Is that the SR20?
It's
the SR20 is nice. I got in trouble last time for calling it a Mercury outboard and a 44-gallon drum. I think it was you who took offence at that, actually. I think I said it on the. I think I said it on another broadcast internationally with. It was when Billick was driving at World Time Attack. I think I said that. You told me I wasn't allowed to be SR20th. That's a good looking car.
This is Matt Brown. I think he's out of Wellington. Used to be teammates with Russell Veer. This has got
yes.
plenty of gear in it, but unfortunately...
That was your fault, Benny. You did that. That was commentator's hex. That was a very big understeer for Matthew Brown.
That's correct. That was a misinitiation. I'd say this is going to be scored very low, if not a 1. Unfortunately for Matty, yeah,
he's got some problems.
Just looks like it might be a bit over gripped in the back, and he's trying to pinch that front, the left foot on the brake to slow it down, put it in the position, and it's just not working out for him.
All right, so just talk me through that, Benny. When you're saying something's over gripped, what's it effectively doing to the car? It's sending it straight forward?
It's pushing the front wheels.
Right, so when Matt goes to turn in, it just goes sledges straight ahead effectively.
Yeah, that's correct.
Luke Chappell, Team 12 AM Drift. The team is named for Luke's wonderful habit of being working on the car till midnight the night before each and every drift event. They're out of the Central North Island, I believe. So great to see Luke and his team making it down here. And Luke, another guy who emerged on the scene last year in pro sport, and trying to get better and better each and every round. That will be unfortunately an incomplete pass for him for Team 12 AM Drift. Just having some issues there, completing the section there, and pulled it back out of drift.
Rightio, another silver Laurel.
Yeah, Cam Omlivray, a lot of time for the Omlivrays and their team and their antics, and aggression is his middle name. I don't even know what kind of entry that was, and I'm going to say straight away that's a 1 right now. I thought he was going to drive over here into the commentary box to come and say hello to us. The Big L Dog. It looks great blazing, like that's a great Facebook photo for afterwards, but unfortunately it's not going to be a well-scored run. But Cam Omlivray is going to find the limits. He's going to work out what he can do with the Glass Group-sponsored Laurel. That is, I think, somewhere between 900 to 1,000 horsepower, and it has a big Pulsar turbo on the side of an LS motor. So the Omlivrays out of Wellington are horsepower junkies. Mum and Dad both have single-digit drag cars, and so does Cam's daughter, although hers only does obviously an 8th mile. She's got a junior dragster, competes in the JD field, so a real petrol-head family.
Cool. Yeah, it looks like he's got some sort of V8 under the bonnet with a pair of waistcoats hanging out on the side. Here we go, Tyler Knowles, to see if he can tidy up and get himself some points, but just doesn't look like that car wants to initiate as such into that first turn.
How much does that throw you out as a driver when you've got a run planned out in your mind and it just doesn't go?
That's right.
You can reset, or
yeah, you can. And the talented drivers can do that, but hey, it is hard here. We just had minimal laps for these fellas, and our pro class as well in the dry today. So
yeah, and I want to remind everybody that you are watching the pro sports. This is the development series, so a lot of these guys haven't done a lot of competition lap. We haven't been to Teretonga since 2019, so a lot of these guys actually, I think, probably didn't even have driver's licenses, I would guess, back in 2019. As we take a look at Matthew Brown for at Pace Solutions S13, as we mentioned earlier. Matt just can't build a bad looking car. He had a lot of problems the first time out, Benny, but he looks like he's got it sorted this time. Yeah,
I think so. He just missed that first little zone as he initiated on the top of the bowl, but he seems to be pulling back some lap here. Commentator's curse, there we go.
That was your fault. You did. Matthew Brown send complaint to Ben Jenkins Just can't find him in the pits later.
He almost banked some points there, but unfortunately that will be a 1.
All right, so we are moving through the field very rapidly here, but we do still have Bradley Knight atop the tree as we watch the replay. Thank you to GT Radio of Matt Brown executing his second pass. So Matt Brown for at Pace Solutions. He said there was a waiver and a straighten up there too, Benny, that didn't pick up the first time around, so there would have been a deduction there anyway, but then on this last corner it just hasn't quite gone right there for Matty Brown as we watch Luke Chappell again, and that's after initiation and shut down, so that's a re-initiates this field 1 for Luke Chappell. So what's the theory here, do you reckon? Do you keep going to get data and driver insight when you've aborted a run effectively, or do you just decide to keep the car for another day? Maybe it depends of how highly strung the car is.
Yeah, definitely a good idea to shut it down and not obviously create more issues. This fella here has just smashed his rear bumper off in a 1 run, so the recovery boys will have to be out there, you know. So that's the sort of thing. If you messed up a run, it's better to just circle around if you're in practice, or unfortunately this is qualifying and you don't have another go, but it's better to just reset and get back.
I think the great thing about New Zealand is you can still get Zafiro bumpers.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, there's still a plentiful supply of them, and I heard rumours at one point there was still actually the original Workshop X mould floating around from way back. Now let's see what Cam Omlevray does this time around, because he had that big wild entry. Is it sitting on the left foot there just baking?
I think it's just got a whole lot of power, this car.
Is it just turning tyres?
Doesn't look like the brake clutch switch strip is on the windscreen.
That's why you're here as my technical expert, mate. I don't notice those things.
This man, he just gets a bit excited. He just gets a bit excited out of the start box. If he tidied that up and left it until the first turn, he'd probably have a bit of that. But I'm sure he's having a whole lot of fun behind the wheel of that car.
I'll tell you what, I guarantee Cam Omlevray, no matter what, I say this every time I commentate, he will have the biggest smile on his face of anyone in the pits. I've never seen that guy with a frown or anything else. He just loves being here, right? He was part of that kind of scholarship movement last year. It was his dream to come drifting. Speaking of dream to come drifting, Jordan Richards, Senate nursing on the side of this car. Jordan Richards, one of the drivers who has been picked by many as a man to beat if he commits to doing the full season here in Pro Sport. This is a very well put together S15. A lot of knowledge has gone with this car from... just ripped that rear out of the car. Did that snap us? What did it do? What did it snap?
He's unfortunately dirt dropped there, and then that destroyed a wheel, and that would have done some suspension damage as well. So you've got to be so careful here with this. That's
not going to be... Well, let's just take a look at this roof. This is what we were talking about earlier in terms of flirting with the edge of the track and how deep that trench is. If you get off the outside, like Jordan Richards, just watch this. You can almost feel the impact as it flicks here. Is it?
Just flicks.
Yeah, just ripped it out.
That's done some substantial suspension damage to the back of that S15. Unfortunate for Jordan Richards there, that tidy car. His lap was not looking too bad, a bit shallow in the zones, but he just got a bit greedy as he came around that corner. He is out of zone 4.
He's probably quite lucky that didn't bite, flick around, and then actually turn. Like, the way that they're dug in and that grass is wet out there.
That's right.
Just have a look at this again. Like, this is just a brutal impact. The only positive I can think of is that he is in a relatively common chassis, being an S15. So I would imagine amongst all the various parts and trailers here at D1NZ that may be able to source some stuff depending on how much damage that's done.
Yeah, it's definitely done some damage.
But that's, I mean, what's that going to be? Does a shock like that kind of impact? Probably not,
no
right?
No way. Nothing in the back of a car is designed to absorb that sort of impact.
Oh.
That was quite heavy.
That was probably my fault. I talked him up too much. I'll take that one, Benny. That was probably me. But that is not pleasant looking. Jordan looks like he's very nonchalant about it. Shout out to Brucey, by the way. That's Bruce on the screen there from Smart Steel and Kiki. They are our recovery. He's our recovery wizard. That's Gandalf of Taupo, otherwise known as Purihi. Bruce and his team from Smart Steel are our recovery team for all of the D1NZ season. So let's take another look here at Jordan Richards behind the wheel of the Senate Nursing S15.
A nice faint initiation there, looking to set up quite nice. He missed a couple of the zones, but wasn't going to be too much of an untidy lap. I see he dabs a whole bunch of left foot brake to try and push him into outer zone 3. And as he switches, he just gets a little bit greedy, trying to set up for outer zone 4, and it digs in. Makes all that damage to that left rear of that S15.
Wow, that's an impact, isn't it? That is not, well, I wouldn't say not what we expected, because we know that these drivers are all here looking for a win.
That's right.
And I mean that in the most polite possible way. They're all here to push. They all know what it's going to take to get to the top step of the podium. It's an unfamiliar track. None of these guys have seen it before. In fact, I don't think there wouldn't be a single Pro Sport driver who would have seen this in D1 competition certainly before. Sheldon Neal, we talked about, has been here before in Drift South, but that is quite a different type of competition, I think it's fair to say, compared to D1NZ. So that's going to just set us back a little bit in the program, as sitting on the line there is that the best looking car in Pro Sport? It's got to be close to
Sam Rowson. The Bridgestone. It is.
Yeah, it's Mo Tool though. You have to read it as separate syllables. Mo Tool.
Motor Oil, supplying oil as well.
Had a little chat with with Sam in the pits earlier and said, hey mate, look, you've been identified as a driver to watch this season. How does that sort of feel or sit with you? And he's like, yeah, no, I'm okay with that, man. I'm not here to mess around this season. I've made some changes. I watched what I did last year. Interesting that he said to me, look, I worked out maybe that there was a bit too much angle, kind of like it's a big car last year, so he's put some more grip and some speed into it, looking to improve the performance there. So I think we're going to take a look at some highlights of the runs we've already seen, see perhaps how Bradley Knight from the South Island has put himself atop the trees so far. That is Mitchell Daly you're watching there for RHP in the GT86. That is Western Floyd, I think. Western Floyd. That's Jeremy White on the first run of his. Mitchell Daly, you were talking about that, Ben. You were trying to work out whether he'd maybe given that one a little bit too much of a...
Definitely just a bit of an aggressive switch there into the last turn, which has over-rotated him.
Yes, my apologies. So that's Ben Floyd, because we saw him twice. Sheldon Neal, early pace setter, and still sits inside the top 5 at this point in time with 73.2. Rob Neely with that unique engine underneath the bonnet. You did hear me say earlier he's complete privateer, no sponsors, so if you want to jump on board with him, get in touch with Rob Neely and the team. Tiger White takes the off-road route in the BIP machine. This is Bradley Knight, who we saw just fly through that section there, and we identified it at the time that it was a fast, aggressive run, but it sort of didn't set either of our pulses racing, so to speak. The judges obviously liked what they saw. Likewise, they liked what they saw out of John Atwood, the Dylan Rastrick machine being driven by Trent Elmbranch, and sort of was a messy first lap, followed by a pretty aggressive second one. Jamie Carr in that beautiful looking S13. Digger Dan, former part of the D1NZ team, and out there doing some drift driving this year. Alia Mir in the Z Blue Authentic Honey Co. C33. Tyler West, the best West. Shout out to Sam West, who'll be tuned in as well out there in the live stream land. One of our drivers who'll be back at Gisborne. Zalia putting together her scoring lap. Tyler Knowles had the few issues with the SR20 there. Cam Omblevray, Mr. Aggression, the big L dog. He was obviously excited because he kept going through the end of the section. Ben, I don't know whether the judges told you to back off. Matty Brown at Pace Solutions S13. Nice tidy job from Mac. Score on the board. So we'll just rip through the scores fully while we're watching the highlights. So it is Bradley Knight at 1 at the moment, 83.4. Then John Atwood, 82. Brendan Fisher, 74. Tyler West, 73.8. Sheldon Neal, 73.2. Trent Elmbranch, 70.2. Rob Neely, 67. Liam Higgins, 65.8. Tiger White, 65.2. Zalia Mir, 61.8. Cameron Omblebray, 60.4. Jamie Carr, 59. Ben Floyd, 52.2. Mitchell Daly, 50.4. Cody Lynham, 48. Johnny Burns, 45.8. And then Luke Chappelsayer, Matt Brown, Tyler Knowles, Josh LaRossa, Jeremy White, Vineet Singh, Jordan Richards, Daniel Smith, and Weston Floyd all sitting on a single point. And we believe there are 33 entrants for 32 spots. So potentially one driver sitting on a bubble. And that's going to make for a pretty boring weekend for someone, because if you don't qualify today, you're not going to be battling Sunday either. So you've come a long way to do 2 laps.
You are. You actually are.
That's just occurred to me now.
Yeah. There is the person that's going to miss out tomorrow will then in fact verse in a battle the little person that places last for round 1 to then create that last spot. So they do get an opportunity. They do get an opportunity to battle it out. If they miss out for round 1, they will battle 32nd from the results for tomorrow.
33. Okay.
Yeah, 32nd versus 33.
Yeah.
And they'll have the opportunity to make them their way into round 2. Because we have a long way to come to only qualify for 1 round, or not qualify for 1 round and be out of 2. So it's a good little rule the judges and the D1 team have been put in place.
Right. Okay. So I hadn't been across that update, but one of the things we do know is that the drivers, the whole D1 team, etc., are using Discord this year. So, yeah. So look, I think we probably need to pay some bills at some point too. I wonder if there's any commercial messages we need to quickly get on air while maybe we have a little break here in between watching some highlights, and then we'll come back and hopefully Sam Rowson will be ready to go. Yeah, that's one. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I was going to take you through the competition format here. Benny, probably a good chance for you to jump in here. Line angle style, tell me how that works from a driver's point of view.
Definitely with a line set out by the boys and judged by the line. Judge is the line through the course. So through our drifting section, they show us exactly where they want us to put the vehicle. We need to be pinpoint accurate to grab the maximum points. Angle, obviously the slip angle of the vehicle, you can see how you can hold the angle, the wavering. There's a lot of things that come into it like that. The set forget sort of way is the best and scores the highest when you're set straight onto your angle and finish this section. Now style is how aggressive you are, your initiation style. Left foot braking also comes into that. If you can do the whole section with a left foot brake, that obviously scores high with style. And obviously, yeah, those are the three criteria from our judges, from our talented boys up there in the box.
Yeah, and a couple of changes to format for this year. So obviously the higher qualified driver now gets the choice of lead or chase, and that's an important change from a strategy point of view. Have you given that any thought, Benny, for your battles?
They do that a lot overseas now, I believe. Yeah. It's a Drift Masters rule, so I didn't even know that had come into. I didn't even know that had come in.
All right, let's take a look at the track rundown for here at Teretonga in Invercargill. So Teretonga, of course, is the southernmost racetrack in New Zealand, if not the world. D1NZ has not been here since 2019, and this weekend we have a field of about 70 of New Zealand's best drifters. Some travelled for up to 22 plus hours from the far north to the deep south. What you're taking a look now at is the qualifying line and zones for day number one, or the first of the rounds here at D1NZ round number one, and they are running in the normal direction. So you'll take a look here at the prescribed line. Ben's going to talk you through this from the driver's point of view, what they've been asked to do.
Yeah, quickly leaving the start line. The run-up is quite shorter than what we're used to, with a nice faint initiation into outer zone 1, speeding off into outer zone 2 and setting yourself up wide, not off the track, for outer zone 3. Outer zone 4, you're allowed to be between 1 and 1.5 metres from the edge of the track there with the back wheel of the vehicle. Outer zone 4 is very important to get correct, to stay in the zone a little bit longer than what the cones show, and that enables you to be set up perfectly for that last corner, to be on throttle right through that last corner at mid-track.
All right, and three wise men, of course, for D1NZ this year. Darren Kelly, the head judge. Taylor James joins him on the judging panel, along with Andrew Redwood. Those three with over 50 drift victories between them, and joining them, of course, as the DSO and review official, Joel Counter, multi-time Drift South Championship winner. So the penalties, Benny, you you hate seeing these. Excessively foot braking, wheels off track, hitting the ribble strip, straight lining, bobbles, angle loss, unforced error, and of course the inactive chase one, which is always a bit of a subjective for the judges, but the judges for this year have been very clear in that we want to see battles on the door. Do not sit back and sit 3, 4, 5, 6 car leads there and expect to be given a win and just handed your place in the next round. So plenty to think about for the drivers as they attack season 25-26. Now you are watching a repair going down at the moment because that was a big, heavy, hard hit, and the compact is coming out, Benny. So that has Jordan Richards has done some damage there. How fast would he have been going?
Looks like old Matt Dare's whipped off down to the local hire pool and got himself a compactor.
Thank you, Heavy Tracks Hire. Hey, a shout out to all of our sponsors this weekend, and a special shout out from me personally to Macaulay Motors, the southernmost Ford dealer in the world, supplying me with a brand new Ranger Wild Track to get around while I'm down here. So thank you, Macaulay Motors, who also supply all of the recovery vehicles here at Teretonga Park. So if you're wondering where I was going with that one, Benny, segueing in, Macaulay Ford, the southernmost Ford dealer in New Zealand, and in fact in the world. They did tell me they had confirmed that. They compared that to the South American countries, and they are in fact the southernmost Ford dealer in the world. So thank you, Macaulay Motors, Macaulay Ford, here on D Street in Invercargill for the Wild Track. We've been enjoying getting around in that as we come to the D South for the first time in 6 odd years. Warren Sarah on commentary with the one and only Ben Jenkins. Ben joins me for Pro Sport for the duration of the 25-26 season. From time to time he might disappear out of the box because he does have a car that he's competing in as well in the Pro Series. Keisuke Nagashima, the 205 King. We're now going to refer to him as that. The 205 King joins me for Pro, and he will be joined, of course, for effect by Joe Mulder and Stephen McIver. So pretty comprehensive commentary team this season. So let's take a look at some highlights. We'll just let this play with a bit of music and get some water into us, and we'll be back with you shortly. Teretonga in Invercargill, at the bottom of the South Island, the D1NZ National Drifting Championship. We are on just a brief hold at the moment because we have had some damage done to the edge of the track by Jordan Richards departing at speed, Benny, and the fact that he's done so much damage to the track makes me wonder how much damage has been done. And I can see you've got your phone out there already to your spies and sources in the pits, trying to get the inside word on what's going on with not only Jordan Richards' cars, but a couple of others too as well. So there is a bit of a hold up here at the moment, just in terms of needing to complete some maintenance. So we're going to take another look at the competition format video, just to cover off some changes for the 25-26 D1NZ season. So we'll take a look at maybe both the videos again. Maybe Benny, you're the resident driver expert, so you can talk to me again about what the judges have asked for from the drivers. Here we go. Let's take a look again at how things are going to play out for 25-26. So of course we are going back to Pukekohe Park Raceway. That's the lure that's brought Ben back. The competition format for 25-26. It's drifting. You guys know how this works. It's all about line, it's all about angle, it's all about style. Qualifying scores are done out of 100 points. Benny, have you ever had 100? No? Never. All right, weightings for the 25-26 season. Line is 60%. The other two form 20. We have a standard 32, 16, 8, 4, and then D1NZ runs a final 4 with a 2 and a 3, 3 and a 4, and a 1 and a 2. Tandem eliminations. You guys are not rookies here. You know how it goes. Lead and chase. This year, the big change: higher qualifier gets lane choice. So that means they can either choose to lead or they can choose to chase, and there will be some tactics come into play as we get to the business end of the season. The battles, of course, scored by 3 judges. You'll see slide them right, slide them left. The lights will come on and we will get a result either way, or we'll go to a one more time. D1NZ runs a single one more time format, so we can't go forever. As we take a look at some further highlights of our competitors who do battle for your entertainment, and of course our first ever Australian D1NZ champion, the one and only Mr. Fink, Luke Fink. Some repairs going on, as we alluded to out on the track there, Benny. That's the slowest initiation to that corner you'll see all weekend, I would imagine.
Yeah, unfortunately we're this thin track and the zones that we need to hit to finish this section.
That's right on it too, isn't it? That is right where the car needs to be placed, as we see the team out there working hard. Purahi from Smart Steel and Taupo and the mighty Triton out there, our lead recovery expert, along with the Teretonga track team. Those, now if you're wondering what the random scooters are, those are actually our clerks of course. They are out there conducting safety inspections. So let's take a look at some highlights, starting with qualifier number 5 at the moment. This is the local lad, I believe, in Barry.
It's Brendan Fisher from Christchurch. Yeah, he's put down a pretty good lap here. I think he's had a couple of laps around Teretonga before. Drift South competitor. Good to see him making the trip down into Invercargill to join the D1 Pro Sports. Nice and tidy lap, just lacking a little bit of zones. He wasn't getting into those zones that the judges were asking for. But
not bad though. Good enough still to qualify top 3. Car bouncing around there. Barry. Poor Barry.
Points.
Poor Barry. Do we know if he's done a lot of Drift South stuff? Or?
I think he's done a bit of Drift South stuff.
Yeah.
He did the YMAD 50 with me a couple of years ago.
Ah, there we go. That's the background, right? The infamous YMAD 50. You guys had a great time there, didn't you? Over a number of years.
YMAD 50 was the best event of the year.
It's fair to say the South does hospitality quite different to the North. I mean, I think I know there's always been a thing about coming down here because it is. Look, in all honesty, it is a massive ask for 95% of the teams to come down here, right? Like I think I'm being quite honest in saying that there would be a lot of drivers who probably spent the Christmas and New Year's money to come down here to chase the drifting dream and entertain. And I think one of the coolest things about coming down to Invercargill is myself, Stephen McIver, James McManaway from D1 have all been out and about talking to the local community this morning, and I walked into the pharmacy, I was picking something up, and they said, "Oh, you here for D1NZ?" "Yeah." "Oh, look, the buzz around town is really great about the event." And she said to me jokingly, she said, "You will have never seen as many mullets, camo tops and rugby shorts as you will see tomorrow lining those banks. They'll be there early. They love their motorsport down here in Invercargill. They will fill the banks and they'll cheer loud and proud of their favourite drivers." And Stephen had a similar experience. He was grabbing a coffee, and James was out doing something or other else. And yeah, there's just a lot of positive vibe around D1NZ being back in town, which is, I think, a tribute to the work that the D1NZ team have done. In particular, shout out to Megan, who I know has been working really hard in a social sense to create a lot of content. So yeah, well done and welcome, Invercargillites. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and welcome to those who have clearly skived off work. What time is it? Oh no, it's 6:05. It's after 5 here in Invercargill, so knock off time. What are you going to do with your Friday night? I'm going to come and stand in 14 degrees. No, it's not 14 degrees. 4 degrees. 4 degrees in at Teretonga. Watch some drifting. If you have just joined us, we are just watching some replays because there is a track repair being undertaken at the moment. GT Radio Replay. Thank you to GT Radio for being the official replay sponsor for the 25-26 season. That is Luke Chappell-Sayer just doing Control-Alt Bumper Delete. Team 12 AM Drift from the central North Island. Manfield is Luke's home track. See him there a fair bit. Now this was our number one qualifier
so far.
Benny, so far. With we have 5 cars to go, and then we're into. Actually, mate, you probably need to get ready at some point.
I will.
We probably need to dial Keska out. Have the crew summoned you yet? Just out of interest, how are you guys managing this? Is it literally a come on, Benny, text, arrive and drive thing? You're going to run out of here.
That's it. Yeah,
in the race suit,
on the WhatsApp or the group chat. Yeah. So shout out to my brother as well. He's doing all the media for me.
Where is Troy? We did talk about him briefly the other night about whether he'd get itchy feet and want to come back maybe for Gizzy or something. Or
yeah, maybe we'll see if we can get him back in the car. He'll obviously be back at Summer Bash in a couple of weeks. It's our new local rounders, our workshops at Hampton Down. So yeah, Troy will be at home there watching the far. He's a busy man at the moment, which is busy time of year.
He's busy as far as what I've seen of him is some fishing, some jet skiing, some barbecuing, some wine tasting, living the life. It's like you guys are making your own reality TV show.
I think you got him mixed up with Gaz White, mate. And then Troy's been working hard this year. Yeah,
Gary White. Shout out to Gary White, Z, Connor. Probably tuned in this afternoon. They usually chime in with their 2 cents or 3 cents as we watch Rob Neely execute his qualifying pass, that unique VQ motor underneath the bonnet. Does sound like we've got some cars scrubbing behind us, Benny, just behind our commentary box, which is a good sign. So hopefully that track repair has been completed. I'll run you through the scores again just for the top 10. Bradley Knight leads the way, 83.4. John Atwood, 82. Brendan Fisher, 74. Tyler West, 73.8. Sheldon Neal, 73.2. Oh, Sam West. Oh, sorry.
Sam Rouse, and we missed him live, so we'll watch the replay here as Sam enters into the section. Just missing that first clipping point and trying to get out to out of zone 2. I don't know if it's the camera angle, but it definitely looks like he missed that zone as well. The judges want him a little bit further into them. Now the main zone, out of zone 4. He's a little bit shallow in it, which then just sets it up to be a little bit of an ugly finish for that. But
you had identified earlier that the judges have said that is the key point on the track, that out of zone 4.
For this track, I believe out of zone 4 is the key point, and it's all about setting up the finish, not shutting out the chase car as well, coming across the track too early.
Yeah,
it's a very critical part there. So
very, very big focus for the 25-26 season on delivering chaseable lead runs.
That's it. We want to see chase cars on lead cars' doors, and doors, that is, Not attacking front wheels.
Yeah, and to clarify what I mean by that is it's not like people have been trying in past to not drive to the line, but it's perhaps been that kind of, it sort of somehow became about winning on technicalities and over-defining things. So I think we're going back to the ways of old as we watch Aidan Daly, who has been on the podium before in the development series, attacking the course in the LS-powered S14 out of the RHP camp in the Tauranga area. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 RHP cars competing this weekend, but I think this car is actually going to be double dutied with Clayton Daly jumping into Aidan's car in Pro after an earlier incident for Clayton Daly in practice. Take a look at Aidan again. Limitless Tyres is his business that he owns there in the Teretonga region. So if you're after alignment services or tyres, go and see Aidan and the team at Limitless Tyres. I do want to see these boys do well, and I do want to see Joe Mulder's prediction come true. A couple of brothers on the podium would be pretty cool. Just throw that one out there, you know, maybe before. I mean, are you and Troy going to need to try and do that at Summer Bash just to try and beat the Daly boys to it? Or have you guys been on the podium at the same time yet?
Troy and I have not. No, we haven't. We normally end up versing each other and knocking each other out.
Alrighty, Benny, mate, I think you got some qualifying to do, so you better jump in your car, put your race suit on as we watch young Riley McEwen, now 16 years of age, four-wheel drive warehouse, good ride on the side of his FC RX7, laying down the scholarship winner from last year. Flirts with the outside of the track there, a little bit of a dirt turbo for Riley McEwen, but good flowing speed here from the young man as he attacks and conquers the section here at Teretonga for the first time. Good job there, young man, the Psycho RX. Well worth taking a look at the replay as we welcome into the commentary booth the man we have dubbed the 205 King, Keisuke Nagashima. My friend, welcome to commentary for 25-26.
It's good to be here. It's really, really good to be here.
You're excited, mate?
I am. I mean, obviously with Pro Sport, they've had a bit of a mare of a day. It's been raining all day, and then they've gone straight into dry qualies. So it's obviously quite hard for them. But hey, they're putting on a show for us, so it's good.
All right, Sammy Rowson in the Motul Bridgestone Tyre Centre sponsored machine. Looking great out there on the track, looking resplendent in the new colour. Sammy Rowson with some expectations on the shoulders this season. The big Laurel float side to side there. Looking slick there on the Workmeister front rims with the one style on the rear there. Just hangs it out there, and he will lock in I think a better score for his second run. The first pass for Sammy Rowson was a... Where did he lock in? Sam Rowson. Take a look at the replay. Tell me what you see, technical expert Keisuke Nagashima.
It was a really good flick on the initiation. He hit that first outer zone there, and the second outer zone did a bit of a late switch there to get to the third outer. Good switch back onto the fourth outer, a little bit of left foot brake to get back out there. A lot of smoke. He's obviously on throttle, and he's actually kind of done a bit of a 90-degree entry into that last outer zone to finish off the lap. So it was a pretty tidy run from Sam, other than that last corner there. No, it was a good effort by him.
Did you catch much of the earlier runs from where you were watching? Yeah?
Yes, I did. Yep.
Any standouts for you?
Yeah, I mean, Cam with the Grey Laurel put on a decent run on his second run. Zelia also did a pretty good run, both in C33 Laurels, funnily enough. And yeah, no, they were doing pretty well. So, considering the conditions,
Ben was only cheering for the S13s. He didn't want to see any other cars. So Sam Rowson locks in a... I just saw that. Sorry, it's weird from my vision again. Sam Rowson was a 50.
Here comes Aiden.
Oh, sorry, Sam Rowson to 187.2. Sam Rowson to 187.2. Sorry, that was a partial score that had locked in earlier as we watch Aidan Daly, RHP sponsored LS S14 chassis. that didn't look tidy there as he went to...
No, he had a bit of a bobble coming into that 4th outer zone there as he comes onto the last corner. He goes out wide and finishes the lap. It wasn't a bad start from old Aiden there, but yeah, just that kind of third switch to the 3rd outer zone, 3rd to 4th outer zone is where he made a little bit of a bobble, but he's kept it on track, which is good.
Right, taking a look at the GT Radio replay, this is where Keisuke will step in and apply his technical expertise as we pick things apart tomorrow on the Sky Sport, KO and Pacific Direct.
As I said, yeah, the 1st and 2nd outer zones, he wasn't really out to the very edge, but he did pretty well there until that point there where there was a little bit of a correction, a bobble, as he comes into the last outer zone and does pretty well, goes out to the ripple strips there and finishes the lap. So, yeah, pretty good lap considering.
All right, straight into Riley McEwen's second run. Now, I didn't give Riley McEwen's first score, but it was an 81.8 from young Riley. And he is on fire here. He is looking aggressive. And could we see the young man topping the tables again? A little bit of a left foot brake there just to settle the car down there. The good ride tyres gripping up nicely on the back there, flirting with the outside of the track. Just nicely through that that middle kind of line there that was asked for, Keisuke, and a really tidy pair of runs there for Riley McEwen. Nothing major wrong.
That was a beautiful lap by Riley. I was talking to his dad, and he's really, you know, used to these fast, flowy tracks. And you can see here he's really stable. He's a bit of an adjustment to get to that 1st outer zone. Goes really wide into the 2nd outer. Good switch and keeps on throttle to get into the 3rd outer there. Good switch again to get into the 4th outer, and he's pretty on line there. Good switch back into the final outer zone, and yeah, I mean, pretty flawless run by Riley.
Yeah. What I observed about that run there is just the overall style and just the smoothness of the way he did everything and put the whole thing together was really nice, and I hope he's rewarded with a good score there. Riley McEwen to position 2, 83.8. Riley McEwen to 2, 83.8. So it is still Sam the Mo Rowson with 87.2 at the top, as Johnny Burns has come back out for his second run. His first run, I think, was interrupted either by Jordan's mechanical or possibly he took advantage of the new 5-minute qualifying rule. He is sitting at the moment on a 45.8. Is that lifting that inside wheel?
Yeah,
it is.
Yep, a little bit of left foot brake too. I think a lot of the cars have been gripped up, obviously from driving in the rain in the morning and then coming into full dry. So having to adjust the settings to be able to get through this lap for a lot of teams have been a little bit difficult adjusting. But Johnny Burns in the SR20 VET S14.9.
Why do we go VET over DET, just out of interest?
So in the head there's roller rockers rather than lifters. So with roller rockers you can actually, it's got VVT as well, which helps with a lot of top end, good flow in the head.
Right. That's why you're here. You and Benny, technical commentators, and people who actually know things about motors and cars, as opposed to me who just makes stuff up. Now this is Roddy Knowles'
No, this is Ryan Parry in Roddy Knowles' car. So Ryan actually, I think, did a motor this morning, unfortunately, and Roddy's been kind enough to handle the car.
Right, so Ryan Parry, we know, is really, really fast as a driver, always attacks the section, knows the RB motor really, really well. Every time we saw him last year, he was kind of in that mid to high 90s kind of range. I think we're seeing different types of scoring this year, but he won't be unfamiliar at all with an S chassis with an RB, right?
100%. So I mean, S13, S14, there was a couple changes there, but he was saying earlier before that it felt familiar, which is good. So as you can see by this lap, good initiation flick there into the first outer zone as he handbrakes to adjust to get out there mid-track there, which is good, to the second outer zone, switches back, bit of left foot brake just to adjust to get to that 3rd outer, makes it, good switch back, and a little bit of handbrake to adjust, a little bit of a bobble, but he's made it work. Good entry there, one wheel drop potentially on that 4th outer zone to the finish line. So good lap by Ryan there.
I'm gonna say it'll be a mid to high 70, and it locks in 75.6. So about where I thought it was going to be. Isaac Aldridge, driver that you and I have watched a fair few times at MSC Challenge, Keisuke, or Landmark Homes. He has the LS2 underneath the bonnet of the E92 BMW. It's good to see that he's managed to get at least a little bit of the ride height out of the rear of that BMW. It looked like it was on pogo sticks last year at times, bouncing around out there. It's something that I know Isaac and his team have been working hard on in the off-season, but great to see they've made it down here to the Deep South, the Landmark Homes sponsored team. And he is a guy that I always say is a battle specialist, right? He's sort of there or thereabouts qualifying-wise, but pick apart the replay, mate.
Yep.
Tell me what you see.
Good initiation. He's a little bit off on that first outer zone there, but good mid-track to that second outer zone. Hits that very nicely for the switch. A little bit of a bobble in between, but gets that third outer zone pretty well. Good switch and good, a little bit of a handbrake to adjust. He might be a little bit off on that outer zone there as he comes back into that fourth outer zone to the final, which he really cleans up there. And yeah, it was a good drive by Isaac. I've driven with him a fair few times, and he's been very, very consistent.
Speaking of consistent, how much more consistent can you be than Blake Miles, the guy who qualified 1-1-1-1-1 every round of last year, and then just didn't quite have things go his way in battles. Shout out, by the way, on behalf of Blake's team to Bailey Hanara, who is the mechanic on that car. Apparently, if anything goes wrong, it's still your fault. And they did ask me to say that on the live because Bailey couldn't be here this weekend. But Blake just settled back in, right? That's just a continuation.
That was a beautiful lap by Blake. I mean, it was something that you'd really expect from him. It was great from the get-go, very flowy, very good initiation there to go into the first outer zone. Bit of a handbrake to adjust, makes it there. Good mid-track through that into that second outer zone there. Good switch. On throttle, as you can see, with that smoke coming out to that third outer zone. Good switch there. Bit of left foot brake to adjust to get to that fourth outer zone there. Good switch and back online. A little bit of a wheel hop there, which is obviously a lot of grip on that car, a little load on that back end, and through the finish line. Very good lap.
Observation of that run, he was in the zones longer and further out than everyone else, and straight to one. Blake Miles 93.6. Blake Miles straight down to business. All right, Johnny Burns, Ryan Perry in the Rody Knowles car. There is no truth to rumours that Rody just wanted to get all of his sponsors airtime this weekend. Rody Bobby never met a sponsor he didn't like, so
100%. I mean, MTF are doing very well here, I think, this weekend. So
thank you to Rody for making a car available to Ryan Perry, who, as Kisko mentioned, through his travels through the pits, had learned that there was a issue this morning with Ryan Perry's car. So Rody making his car available. Now, we would clarify that they have obviously got the 235 tyre. You can see that it has got Ryan's wheel markings just by the red on the rims. Rody doesn't run that same rim, so those are Ryan's tyres and rims on the car. So
it's a good run by Ryan, I think. He was mid-track on that second outer zone, but otherwise he's done very, very well to get into that third and fourth and the last final there. So I think he'll get some good points on the board.
How much of an adjustment would it be to the setup of a car to put it back to a 235 tyre?
To be honest, I reckon he's just running the same as is, and just dealt with it, which is a lot of driver school there. You know, like it's hard to adjust to any type of car when you're first getting into it. So
Isaac Aldridge for pass number 2 for him, looking to improve from a 70.6, which has him in provisional position 10 at the moment. So Isaac Aldridge a little bit more aggressive here, slightly different view. We've got lots of different drones and things happening this year for D1NZ, so lots of different views for the judges to take advantage of to give them the maximum possible decision-making power over each and every battle. Take a look at the replay again for the Landmark Homes sponsored machine.
As he comes in, he does a bit of a feint initiation, gets that first outer zone pretty well. He's a little bit tight there, but he does make that second outer zone work. Good switch to get into the third outer zone. You can see how much smoke's coming off the back end there. It means he's on power. That fourth outer zone there, he kind of missed, so he had to readjust for that last switch back. And as he crosses the line, he's on throttle, which is good to see. So I think he'll get a fair bit of style points, but he might be just adjustments on line.
Yeah, I think if you're comparing, now that we've had a benchmark run from Blake Miles, right?
Yeah.
That just the length of time Blake was able to spend out in each outer zone on throttle, making tyre smoke, just delivering that run that we want to see. And I'm going to say straight away, I don't think that's quite as smooth there or as long strong from Blake. Correct. Would he have maybe used up a lot of the tyre on that first run?
I think, yeah. I mean, it makes a huge difference going from your first to second runs. I think he initiated using the handbrake a little bit too much there, which obviously got him offline in that first initiation. But other than that, looking at this run now, it's another flawless run other than that first outer zone.
Yeah, I think if you look at that one there, you might say, oh, okay, so maybe we're going to see a high 80s score, maybe instead of a.
I think he's pretty stoked regardless.
So, yeah, let's take a look at the replay again. Blake Miles at the moment provisionally sitting in P number 193.6, continuing on with business as usual for Mr. Miles, the standout qualifier of the Pro Sport last year. And something I can tell you, there were 2 drivers last year who finished inside the top 10 every round. Blake Miles was one, Corbin Wilson was the other.
Yes. And it's, where's Corbin?
Corbin is not here this weekend. They lost the LT4 motor testing at Gisborne. They had to put a stockish LS motor into the 350Z, and they're just concentrating on doing MSC and Summer Bash for
fair enough.
But now, just
it gives Blake a little bit more chance to be ahead throughout the whole season. So hey,
right. So we've got some more borrowed cars here. What you're looking at is Connor Halligan's car, but I've got no idea at all who's driving it. So hopefully Race Control will come through to me shortly and tell me who is behind the wheel of the Connor Halligan car.
This could actually be a mechanical, because...
No, sorry, so that was I think you're right, we are moving into Pro now, so you're right, it probably was a mechanical safety lap there. So there are some slightly different rules, again, that we talked through earlier on the broadcast, applying to this year's series, including some mechanical safety rules. So I think that's what that was there for Connor Halligan. So he is entitled to a minimum of 1 practice lap before qualifying. That was added in at the request of the drivers. We talked about the fact that there is a drivers forum where basically drivers are entitled to voice their opinions. Some things are accepted, some things aren't, some things are just not possible to do, but a mechanical safety run is one of them. So just been advised there's a slight change to the order, so you will see Aaron Habib up first in, I think he's in Tyler West's car, because David Hunter's car is broken. Wera Takake has chosen to call his 5 minutes. He should have run first, but he has called his mechanical 5 as he is entitled to do. So let's just go back quickly to the scoring to confirm what the Miles Motorsport fans probably think and know already. Waiting just to see. It is Blake Miles with a 93.6 provisionally in position number 1. I was right there. Kesko 89 was his second best score, so not far off. Sam Rowson fills position 2 with 87.2. Riley McEwen is 3 with an 83.8. Isaac Aldridge to 4, 83.8. Bradley Knight 83.4. John Atwood 82. Ryan Parry 75.6. Brendan Fisher 74. Tyler West 73.8. Sheldon Neal 73.2. Aidan Daly 70.4, Trent Elmbranch 70.2, and Rob nearly 67. Now I will just convert over now to talking about the Fleet Tyres machine, which is on screen, and this is Aaron Habib on his pro debut. Aaron fresh back from Matsuri Week in Japan. Kesko, something you know a fair bit about.
Yeah, I think he got a lot of driving in, so hopefully it shows during his first qualifying lap. I mean, obviously it's quite hard jumping into someone else's car and just sticking semis in the rear. You can tell by the fluoro wheels in the rear that he is on semis there. So he's done a pretty decent job there for his first run. I think he's still feeling it out. They've been swapping cars during the day, and obviously there's only been a lot of wet driving up till now, so it might be Aaron's first dry run in that car.
Yeah. And, the good thing for Aaron is that he does know and understand the power delivery of a 2JZ very well, with the 2JZ underneath the bonnet of his own BMW M4. Although I think his one's actually probably 100 horsepower up on Tyler's one. I think
if not a little bit more, I think.
I sometimes ask Aaron how much horsepower you got, and he goes, all of them.
Yeah,
that's kind of it. So it's like the opposite to the. Keske school of thinking. Dino Young steps up into pro, a man you know well, Keske.
Very well, very
Dino
well.
Young, first pass in pro. Let's see how he goes. The smooth silver fox is what I like to call him. Dean Young steps up into pro, 4:25.26. He's out there doing his thing on Teretonga for the first time. This will be the first time he's driven here because he only started competing 3 or 4 years ago, and we haven't been here since 2019. It's not looking too bad for Dino there. Also manages to lift that inner front wheel, so those cars getting gripped up, Kesko, as we move to the semi-slicks in the pro class. So we are now
100%.
watching pro.
Yeah, so Dean Young, obviously last year's Pro Sport champion, now into a pro car. This chassis is actually Ra Hayder's old chassis that he's just bought and built using a couple parts off his S13. I mean, his first initiation there was not bad. Unfortunately, he lost a little bit of proximity to that second and third outer zones. As he gets into that fourth outer zone, picks up a wheel and just throttles out to the very, very end there. So not a bad run for his first run, but hopefully he can do a little bit better on this next one.
Now, as technical, I'm only expecting this car to drive off the line, by the way. This is David Hunter, so David only has to drive off the line to get a score of 1, and that will put him into battles for tomorrow. So
Correct.
he did show me the gearbox part from the TTI, which is not straight.
No,
right. This is a very brave call to make for David Hunter and his team.
And he's off. So, I mean, at this point, he has been able to come off the start line.
Yes.
And I'd assume he'd do a handbrake. There you go. And initiated. And he'll probably try. Oh, he's actually trying to make it work. So, good on him.
Well, that's one way to play it safe, David Hunter.
Yeah. I guess parts are coming for him, so he's going for gold.
My understanding is that they're pulling the TTI gearbox out of Trent Elmbranch's car in Christchurch and then bringing it down to try and do a change overnight using Trent's clutch as well, is sort of what David was trying to explain to me in the pits before. As you might be able to tell, I'm not the most mechanically minded person, Kesko, but that's how he explained it. We'll take a look at the replay. David Hunter, Team 33, Max Civil on the side, and we thought it was going to be gentle, Kesko, but it wasn't really.
No, I mean, yeah, all he had to do was handbrake here to initiate into that first corner, but he just put the foot down and kept going. So he's done good considering his gearbox issues. I think he kept it in one gear to make it around the course. He's actually hit that second outer zone pretty well. And
Scotty D
made it through the rest of the course as we see Scotty come through.
Earthworks on the side. Shout out to Hans and the team from Earthworks up in Ruakaka.
Oh, he's
far up north, and he's on the loud pedal.
Yeah.
Scotty D getting his value for money out of those tyres, and it's tipping and gripping and lifting the front wheel there, and it was even more magnified because the front bar's not on the car. The Earthworks BMW, Scotty D is a man who can pedal. Like, he
puts the foot down, as you can see here, as he goes for the entry there. He goes pretty wide there, gets that first outer zone pretty well, mid-track there. Second outer zone, he's a little bit off, a bit of a bobble into that switch to that third outer zone there, makes that pretty well. This fourth outer zone was very impressive. He's just full on throttle, maybe a bit of left foot brake to adjust as he comes into that fourth outer zone, and
tipping, gripping and ripping though.
Exactly.
I like that. Now, I appreciate the aggression from Scotty D, and you'll always see that. Now, Kesko, interestingly, I can see that even though we called it as a full run, David Hunter was given a 1.
Right.
So he must have not initiated as required, perhaps?
He probably initiated after the initiation point, which is, from a judge's technical point of view, I think would be considered a 1.
Right. Okay, so confirming at the moment, Dino Young has, so Scotty D, 81.6, Scotty D, 81.6, Dino Young, 76.8, Aaron Habib, 50.8, and David Hunter has a 1. So it'd be interesting to see if David Hunter comes back for a second pass, or whether they elect to park that car up.
I would hope he's going to elect to park the car up, but let's see how we go.
Wireta Kake has not made it and is therefore out, so he needed to drive off the line. So that's actually, I think, potentially something that will need to be looked at tomorrow in terms of what happens with qualifying into Sunday, but we'll leave that for the judges to, the clerks of course, to make a decision on that. As Aaron Habib, directional driller and trencher by day and also by night, as we watch him dig a wheel off the inside there in the Tyler West car.
Yeah.
Take a look at the replay here.
A good, very aggressive initiation as he comes into that first outer zone there. A little bit of a handbrake, and he's a little bit in the inside of the track, missing that second outer zone. Good switch back. He's still on throttle to that third outer zone. I think he maybe switched a little early, which upsets his line for fourth outer zone. A bit of a handbrake drag there as he comes around into the finish. So, I mean, overall, he's made it around the track. And it was okay. It could have been a little bit more aggressive, but
back to the Dean Young second run, and if there's one thing we know, it's that the Dean Young fans are pretty feral in the chat box. So I'm sure they'll be setting the Oversteer TV live chat off right now, usually from both in New Zealand and Australia. Dean Young just can't build a bad looking car, can he?
He's not a bad looking lad too.
The smooth silver fox, I like to call him. He told me he's only 32, 33. I'm sure that he has a few more miles on the clock than that, but maybe someone can confirm that one for me.
Talking about miles on the clock, he's getting another run in his freshly built S15 there. Decent on first outer zone. The second one he missed off a little bit there. On the third he did very well. The fourth was a little bit inside, which he had to adjust a handbrake to get into that.
That was what I was going to ask you before. So I saw that on the first run too. Is he handbraking on that last corner, because you can just see the wheels?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. So when the rear wheels lock up, it means he's on the handbrake, right? So he's doing that just to adjust that line, trying to get the rear to rotate to where he wants it to be. We'll see what the judges have to say about that.
Right, because I think, yeah, the benchmark so far is the Blake Miles run that we saw. Right, I would like to see that from the pro cars, but it is also fair to say that based on what the judges had said, that it potentially is easier to achieve on a 235 radial tyre. Again, going to be a David Hunter. So if I was David, I'd just shut that down there. Because what are you getting out of this? Nothing.
He's having a lot of fun.
You run the risk of destroying more stuff. But he's just angry, I think.
Yeah, I think he just wants to drive.
Yeah.
Good on him. Yeah. Good on him. He's putting on a show.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd drive off the line and go, I need to fix this. I should not break any more expensive stuff. But David Hunter just going to do things David's way. But he's gone well past the initiation point anyway again, hasn't he?
Yeah, we'll see what the judges have to say about that. I mean, it was kind of at the initiation cone, so but there was a bit of understeer in that first corner. He's actually done relatively well, left foot braking and trying to adjust to what he's got. He's definitely leaving in just one gear to get around the whole course there as he comes around into the finish line. So yeah, we'll see what the judges have to say about that. Scotty D in the Earthworks E92.
Yeah, it's good to see Scotty D back. I mean, he's sort of threatened for a while to come back, and he talked about doing some things, and I think he even at one point was trying to enter, rumour has it, he was trying to drive John Atwood's car in Pro Sport at Bay Park last year. But Scotty D is he's a multiple event winner. Yeah. He is a multiple event winner. So
he's been in it for a long time.
Yeah, deemed not eligible to compete in Pro Sport and beat up on people on 235 radial tyres. So Scotty D out here with a point to prove, and Scotty D already has a decent score in the bank, so let's see whether he improves further. Scotty D already has an 81.6 to his name, and he is
lifts the wheel and off he goes. Well done for keeping that on track.
Just how ripped up is that thing to be doing, like to be squatting down? And
it looks very, very gripped up. E92s have a funny rear geometry, so to get that to work with what he's got with the 2J there.
Why don't we like them as much here? Is it just because we're familiar with the S chassis?
I think so. I mean, the E92 is still a newer chassis in New Zealand for development. I think Scotty D and obviously Isaac Aldridge and Pro Sport are the two competitors that are driving these chassis forward, which is great. As you can see there, that might be two wheels off, maybe not, but it looks pretty impressive with that left front wheel way off the ground.
It's not too off, but what I can tell you, Dino Young Dean Young has gone to position 1 with an 85. Dean Young to 185. Scotty DP to 81.6. And our broadcast colleague, feels weird to say that as he's out there driving, Benny Jenkins. How good is it to see him back behind the wheel of the 800 horsepower Phoenix S15, and he is blazing through the course. Benny Jenkins has warmed up by spinning some lines on the commentary microphone, and he is out there just laying down now. Hats off to that man. How he's gone from being in here talking to out there, Cascade, a throwdown like this, and talk us through what you're seeing here from Benny.
Yeah, so I think he got caught up a little bit on that first initiation flick, but he makes do with that second outer zone very well. The good switch and on throttle towards that third outer zone, another switch into that fourth outer, and he does a bit of a left foot brake adjustment to get out there as he switches back, and he just gets caught up in that final switch, but he makes it around the corner. And I mean, it was a pretty clean run from Ben otherwise, so we'll see what the judges have to say.
I'll tell you what, the judges this year are fast. 78.8 locks in straight away for Ben Jenkins, so I do like the fact the judges are decisioning very quickly this year. Maybe it's might be the change to maybe the line angle style thing being 60-20, just makes it that little bit more easy to write down your deductions. Now, happy birthday apparently to Stocky.
Oh.
From your RHP team. Happy birthday, Stocky.
The Barra S15 as it comes around into the third outer zone, switches back into and misses the fourth outer zone, hits that inner ripple strip, handbrakes to adjust for that final outer zone there as he comes back in and around into the finish line. So, I mean, Stocky's the only one driving a Barra, I think, other than John Atwood.
There's the opposite lock car as well, Brendan Fisher. Yeah, right. So there was a couple of Barry enthusiasts in the field this weekend. That was notable as the entries came through. But yeah, and certainly in the pro field, this is the only Barra powered machine. The birthday boy, Stocky. I'm unsure if this is true or not, but I'm told it is his 45th birthday.
He looks very good for 45.
He does look good for 45. I'm going to assume that some GST or tax was added to that by his friends, shall we say, who shall remain nameless at this point in time, but may have joined us on a broadcast during the week.
So it's going to be interesting what the judges have to say about the initiation. Obviously, he did go for the handbrake initiation there, but then he got caught up and re-initiated. So we'll see what the judges have to say.
The judges have called it incomplete and given him a 1.
There you go.
All right, Benny, let's go, mate. Got to improve from a 78.8. Mr. Jenkins here to win a title this season. He has told us he is not backwards in laying out his expectations of himself as a driver, somebody who has experienced a lot of success in a variety of different events.
Looking like a great run by Benny there. Obviously,
bump the delete. That's all right. Don't worry about that. Somebody will sort out a new one. Just hello, Mr. Sponsor. I need some more money, please. I deleted my bumper, but Benny gets through nice and smooth, and a couple of complete passes for him, and I think he'll be feeling pretty good about that.
I think that lap was pretty good, mate. Yeah. I mean, other than, I think for personally, it was that switch back onto that last outer zone there, which kind of hooked up. But look at that initiation, very fast, going out to that first outer zone very well there. Mid-track, which is where you want it, to that second outer zone, perfect switch there, coming into the third outer zone.
Was there a little waver just through the middle there?
Could have been, but I couldn't quite see it.
The wheel's definitely not off the track. That's the bumper. It's the design. The car sits very low in the back, and it has that kind of overhang, the kind of flare almost on the outside there that's caused that bumper to come off. Yeah. So no concerns there with outer limits of the track.
I think it's the Origin Driftline kit they call it. So it's very, very aggressive.
You are here as our expert in all things Japanese. Sorry to upset anyone who was expecting full Japanese commentary this year. It's a little bit too hard to ask Kesuke to do that every time, but I'm sure we'll bring that out on special occasions.
If we get a special Japanese driver over, then might bring it out.
That's it. Yeah, Mr. Griffin for his second pass, RHP sponsored machine, the Barra S15. Stocky is a kiwi fruit grower, I believe, from the Te Puke region. Good to see him back here, and the fact he's down here in the cargo indicates to me that he's probably looking to do a full season, and that's a good thing to have more drivers like Stocky supporting D1NZ, and I think that's a nice run.
It wasn't a bad run. It's definitely an improvement on his first run, and yeah, he did miss a couple outer zones on the third and fourth there, but yeah, a very, very big improvement from his first run.
Is There's a drag there, right, in the middle. Is it the right? You ideally don't want to be doing that, right? The judges
Ideally, you want to be on throttle there, but a minor adjustment isn't too bad. Obviously, he's missed that outer zone there, and he's had to adjust, use the handbrake to drag it out to that last outer zone as he lifts another wheel up, and he comes into that final finish.
So just sorry, I wasn't sure if that was a scrub there, but that is Sam Edinburgh, VIP Structural Steel sponsored entry. Sam Edinburgh, of course, Edinburgh like the city. This guy out there blazing with the Chevrolet power underneath the bonnet. These boys are not horsepower shy. The VIP team seem to think 1,000 horsepower is a target to aim for, so I think Sam's a little bit under and Dan might be a little bit over, but certainly plenty of tyre turning torque underneath the bonnet of the VIP steel machines. That's a nice opening of the account for Sam Edinburgh. Ben Jenkins has gone to 1. Ben Jenkins to 188.8 over Dino. So Ben Jenkins to 188.8.
Yeah, as we look at Sam's run here, it was a Scandinavian flick initiation there. As he comes out, he kind of misses that second outer zone, unfortunately. Third one, he comes up a little bit short, uses the handbrake to adjust to that fourth, and I think he might be a straight line. I'm not too sure there as he comes onto that final finish line, and he's on throttle there, which is, yeah. So we'll see what the judges, how the judges see that run.
Yeah, the VIP boys definitely here wanting to take advantage of the local knowledge and the fact that they've been here before. So it is quite notable when you're talking to the South Island drivers that they do feel that for once they might have the upper hand over a decent number of the field, just having been here before and having a setup.
But what's interesting, I think, obviously this today's been a mixed condition day from full wet to full dry, so it really evens the playing field between the drivers. Even the guys from up north to down south, they've all had to adjust and really, you know, work out how to drive the track.
Sam Edinburgh 61.4 for his first run. Sam Edinburgh 61.4. Justin Patterson, JP Drift, MTF on the side. Justin Patterson proudly involved in the MTF Cambridge business, and great to see him back out there again.
Oh, it was a good
flick. Is it just me, or has Justin Patterson had his angry pills for breakfast? And this is a fast run from Justin. He's looking aggressive.
Yeah, the car looks dialed, and I think he's very comfortable in that car. He's getting more comfortable by each lap he drives. So it was great to see Justin out there.
He's I think he self-describes himself as a bit of a checkers or wreckers kind of driver. Like, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I think that's just him, right? Like, he's out there to entertain and he doesn't want to hold back. Like, he's here to win.
Yes.
Yeah. So definitely fast and aggressive, nice and flowing. Anything you're picking up there, mate?
Yeah, it was the first and second outer zones. He might have just come up a little bit short. He's had to really adjust for that final outer zone there as well to come over the finish line. So
sitting down the track.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I mean, decent run from Justin for his first qualifying run there.
Justin Patterson straight on the board with an 81, so it goes to 4. As this is Dan Caldwell, so Dan's car has the blue on the side. This is the LSX 427 for Dan Caldwell, man who is looking to go and do some driving internationally if possible.
It was a great entry by Dan there as he comes into that third outer zone. He comes up a little bit short, but very, very fast at that fourth outer zone there.
But this is the best and most comfortable that we've seen the VIP boys look by a
100%.
long way.
Look at that.
That's nice for Dan Caldwell.
Well done.
That is very good, and I kind of, is he going to do it? Is he going to do it?
No.
I almost, you know what I was waiting for, the hand out the window. I thought he was going to give it the love tap.
I think he's going to be pretty stoked with that run. Is like that first initiation there is very, very fast on that outside zone as he comes mid-track there to the second outer zone. Bit of a late switch there as he powers on to that third outer zone there. Gets that pretty well. Fourth outer zone is super quick as he kind of goes into that switch for that last zone and just absolutely nails it on the throttle and out to the finish.
He just powered up so nicely though, didn't he? He looked dialed in right from the start. If there's an observation of Dan driving that we've sort of seen in the past, it's almost been like he's almost been kind of fighting the car a little bit, but here it just looks smooth and comfortable, Dalton.
I think that guy was pretty comfortable.
Rhodey Knowles now back, he's claimed his car back off Ryan Perry, bolted the 265s back on. That was some early tyre smoke there from Rhodey, bit of a different approach.
As he comes into the third outer zone there and switches back for the fourth very long outer zone here, which is very hard to adjust when you're going so fast, but he's done pretty well to adjust. A bit of left foot brake, a bit of an adjustment there.
Well down the track, eh? Just sucked him right down the inside.
It is a bit of a downhill corkscrew. It is a little bit back too, so it does suck you into the inside there.
So that was the very different entry we were talking about. It's almost like a
rolling burnout.
Rolling burnout. Yeah, that was what I was just thinking. And we've actually seen that penalised quite heavily in past because it doesn't put the chase car in a good position in the battles.
Yep.
And that's why the judges don't like to see it. Daniel Caldwell went to position 2 with an 86. So Daniel Caldwell, position 2 with an 86. So a nice first scoring pass for Daniel Caldwell. Benny Jenkins still sits at the top, 88.8. We're never going to hear the end of it, by the way, if Benny top qualifies, right? Like, he's going to be in here tomorrow. We're going to have to squeeze his head through the door. No, I joke. I kid. I'm just having some fun. It's Friday afternoon. We're on Oversteer TV Live. Tomorrow we'll be on Sky TV. We'll be on K. We'll be on Pacific Direct. And you guys will be able to join us live for all the action from about 10:30 tomorrow. Pro Sport Battles, followed by the pros in the afternoon, as we see Sam Edinburgh for his second pass this afternoon. Sam looking to improve from a 61 here.
See that rear suspension really compressed. He's obviously dialed on a lot of grip to put that power down as he comes into the switch, and a bit of a handbrake there, misses that fourth outer zone there to come into the switch.
Really flat steering angle through that section, wasn't it? It's pulled him down that track as we were there. It's amazing just how that tiny little micro adjustment has such a big magnified effect by the end of the run. Like it's probably 30 centimeters off at one point of the track, but by the time you get to the end of the run, you're literally half the track on the inside from where you should be, as we take a look at the GT Radial replay.
So he's done pretty well to that first outer zone, to the Scandinavian flick. He might be a little bit off on that second outer zone there. Third outer zone absolutely nails it, but just misjudges that switch back for that fourth outer zone, which he's made to adjust coming back on around to the final finish line there.
Yeah,
so.
I don't think that steering input was as big as maybe I thought it was the first time around. I think it's just the black finish of the wheel, maybe just in the black car, magnified it to me the first time around with the naked eye, but when you watch it that second time. Let's see what Justin Patterson's got this time. The big Scando right to the edge, dancing with the track. Dives it down to the inside there, gets back on the loud pedal. Justin Patterson, we know this man will have some loud and vocal support cheering him on in the chat live stream. He's a popular man. He's a man who's helped a lot of drivers out in past with loaning cars and all sorts of things. He's almost to the point of the back there.
And he made it.
And he made it. Well, I'm going to say put your hands together. I reckon there'll be some people applauding or tack a beer can together or whatever in the beverage or whatever you're doing. I reckon that was pretty bold from JP. We told you he was an entertainer. We told you he's aggressive. Gasgay, call us through.
He's very, very on the outside edge there. Maybe a little bit too early to come off. He misses that second outer zone a little bit, but this third and fourth outer zone is where he really shines. Coming into that fourth outer zone there, absolutely nails that zone there. A little bit of an adjustment there to a pretty much a 90 to backwards entry coming into that last outer zone. So he'd be pretty stoked with that.
Do we know if the judges did kind of say don't rotate to that point? Is that too far? Or I guess we'll find out very shortly.
We'll have to find out, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, he's very aggressive on style and he's very flat-footed, which is good. I
have the answer. Justin Patterson's second run, 78.4. So I think if you look at that one, you'll probably see a deduction come up for line for, he was very shallow on that second clip.
Yes.
Which you picked up, and then the line wasn't quite right for that last corner. Dan Caldwell, what's he got for a second run here? He's currently in provisional position number 2. VIP frame and truss, VIP trade on the side of the S15. The LSX is singing, and Caldwell with a big dirt turbo.
But he's made it work.
Back on the loud pedal again, hazes those tri-ace rear tyres, cranks the lock onto it, now sits mid-track, through the corner he goes, and Dan Caldwell, that is the tidiest pair of laps I've seen Dan Caldwell put together.
Yeah, 100%. I think he's pretty comfortable in this F15 compared to what he was driving before. I think it was a Holden Commodore, which is Fanga Dan's old car.
He did have, they did have Fanga Dan's old car as part of that stable. It's now been moved on. These are the cars we did see them driving at Taupo last year. Here is the replay again. Caldwell, I'm really curious to see how close to the edge of the track he got, because we've probably just had a lot of stuff come back onto the track.
The
so
second and
here it
third
is.
outer zones, you couldn't go any deeper. And obviously there was a little bit off, but the tyre was still on the track, so it was still on the black stuff. We'll see what the score is.
Penalised heavily, mate. 72.8. 72.8. So here we go. Rody Knowles, Rody Bobby, amalgamated. Oh, this is different from Rody. Gives him the big old kick and gets it bagging again. I'd love to know what tyres Rody's running on the back there.
I wonder if they're going to last this lap, mate.
There's not much good. There's definitely not going to be much left of them because it almost looks like the guard's rubbing on the inside there or something's trapped. I don't know. It just looks very different to what we've seen from the other cars. That's much better. Sat where he needed to in the middle of zone number 5 there, where the judges asked him to place the car.
That was a very good lap by Rody. I think it really depends on how the judges interpret that first entry right there as he comes into the first zone. But he's very wide. He's nailed that outer zone, first outer zone. He's mid-track there. Second outer zone, he could have gone a little bit wider, but 1.5 meters off the track, not bad. Third outer zone, perfect. Fourth outer, he really pushes it wide there. And like, look at the amount of smoke coming off the thing. And then,
well, I'm just wondering, but it's doing it in an odd way, right? Like it's very different in the smoke dispersion.
I think it's a high wheel speed type setup, right? So he's obviously made long gearing to get the most out of the wheel speed.
It's the barn car. The barn finder's back. The JDM barn machine.
So
it must be Jeremy, is it?
No,
it's James.
It's James,
the boss man.
And unfortunately for him, his first lap out today, he blew a turbo. So he's actually running this car NA.
So he's driven off the line, and he can fix the car overnight.
Correct.
Tonight,
I think he's got a new turbo on the way. So he's I would have loved to have seen him initiate and try to drive this car NA because it would have been very, very entertaining. But good on him for being out here and trying to get it fixed for tomorrow.
Rody Knowles to 1. Rody Knowles to 1, 89.6. Rody Knowles to P1, 89.6. I feel like Bex and Bradley, the Knowles family, will be celebrating pretty hard somewhere. It's provisional at the moment, but that is a solid score for Rody Knowles. And the judges obviously appreciating that entry there, Keske. So I can actually see it's Launchmaster Willie. The one and only Launchmaster Willie, releasing all of our cars with his own unique style and flair. And speaking of unique style and flair, Johnny Latham, the best sounding car in D1NZ in my opinion. The Uni-Control sponsored NASCAR Toyota motor underneath the bonnet, and we can hear it in the commentary booth where we are, and we are quite a long way away from the track. Johnny Latham looking like maybe just a bit unsettled on this run.
Yeah, I think from that first initiation, I think he didn't really get the rhythm right. As you can see, he's feeling out the car. There might be something wrong with the steering or the rear end there, but he comes into the initiation and he really drives inside into that first outer inner clip. And misses that second inner clip, does a bit of a bobble there as he comes onto the third, nails the third, goes into the fourth, and the car really just wants to drive inside.
That was what I was just going to say to you. So if you watch that replay again, it was like he tried to get it sideways, and then he kicked it, and I think he expected it to turn the tyres and just bag them like it hasn't passed. But you're right, it rocketed the car forward, so it's overgripped. Yeah. So here we go with Braden Mayer now on track. This is the older brother of Zalia, who we saw earlier in the Pro Sport Series. Braden Mayer, also sponsored by Authentic Honey Co. This is a lovely self-built car by Braden and his father, Nick. Great to see the Mayers down here in the South Island. This is looking pretty fast and fluid there. Throws the... up until then, that was my fault. I'll take that curse, mate. Commentator's curse.
Yeah, Braden's doing pretty well on that car. He hasn't really been driving it for too long here, so as he comes into the first initiation there, good Scandinavian flick with a bit of wheel speed there as he tries to make it out to that first outer zone. He goes a little bit inside there, and a very fast switch or early switch from that second outer zone, nails the third outer zone and really makes that fourth outer zone very, very well. As he comes on there, and I think he's made it.
Angle, right?
Yeah, I think he's just been a little bit too aggressive on that switch there as he comes onto the inside and goes over the finish line. So
yeah, I think you're right. If he had taken 10 degree of angle out of it, it would have just positioned him that little bit further around the corner.
It's great to see aggressive driving, but again, it's one of those things where you have to take aggressive to smoothness to
you are tuned in on the live stream, let us know where you're watching from. We want to know if our global fans are tuned in. We're watching the D1NZ Pro qualifying now. This is Clayton Daly behind the wheel of Aidan Daly's RHP LS powered S14. They bolt the 265 on the back and they go racing. There are 3 Dalys competing this weekend. There's
He
Mitchell.
actually might be on 235s from what I've heard, but yeah, I'm not too. I can't confirm that, but yeah.
Oh, you're thinking maybe the car doesn't actually fit the 265.
He's got 235 semi, so it's still within the rules.
Right. Yes. Okay. So, just to confirm that, they don't actually have to run a semi, though, do they? In Pro.
Pro, you have to run a semi-slick, but it's up to a 265 rear tyre. So when I entered Mount Smart last year, I was still running a 205, which is still within the permitted rules.
Right. Okay. Okay, I actually did think you could run a radial tyre, but look, I'm happy to be corrected. So that's why you're here as the technical expert, and I'm just here as the guy who gets us from A to B to C and talks for 12 hours or something or other.
No, it was a pretty aggressive entry there.
Come on, Johnny, let's get this thing hooked up and making some smoke. I want to hear that Toyota NASCAR motor saying, this looks like it's more flowing, Keske. Now it looks like it's doing what Johnny wants it to do. Just got to hold this together, keep it nice and smooth, keep the angle dialed into it. Can you get it around this last corner? This car doesn't carry a huge amount of angle, I don't think.
I think it normally does. I've seen him on angle at different tracks, but I think he's really dialed on the grip in the rear end there. So he's finding it hard to actually get the rotation into lock, and it's actually, the car's very, very, you know, a lot of forward bite in that car by the looks of it there. As he gets on throttle and he goes into the second outer zone, switches back into the third outer zone. If he makes it into, the third outer zone, bit of a quick switch there, handbrake to adjust, and a bit of a bobble there in the fourth outer zone as he switches back. And like you said, he's, you know, very shallow there, but he tries to make the line work to get over the finish line. But yeah, beautiful car, TRD NASCAR V8. You can't really go wrong with that motor.
No, one of those would probably go right in like a GR86 or something.
I think it would.
You know what it is?
A86, mate. Yeah.
The 205. I don't know that a 205 is going to hold that, mate.
Might have to be a 225.
Oh, here we go. Braden Mayer again for run number 2. Had a very aggressive dirt cut across the inside of the 5th section on his first pass, and the judges penalised him for it. He still seems to be struggling with the line on that last run.
Yep, 100%. I think he did try to make an improvement from his first run there, but I do think that he might be just switching a little bit too early. As he comes to the replay here, the first outer zone, he does come off it quite early, which obviously pushes him in, making that second outer zone and a very quick switch into the third outer zone there. The fourth outer zone he absolutely nails as he comes into the final outer zone there. And this is where everyone kind of gets a little bit sucked into that middle zone there, or middle inner clip.
The judges asked for a middle line, didn't they, through that last corner?
Correct.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that comes into play in battles tomorrow, because as Ben alluded to earlier, it's a narrow track. There's not a lot of room there. So if you suck right down to the inside,
might shut the chase car out,
and you're not really going to have anywhere to go but over the inside ripple strip. We've seen it before. So let's have a look at what Clay Daly does. Now that's speaking of shortcuts across the dirt. Maybe I'm psychic.
He's a little bit inside there, but he starts to make it work. I mean, obviously this is the first or second run in the car today, so he's really trying to adjust to the car and how it feels as he comes around onto the final corner there and makes his way across the finish line.
Helps if I push the broadcast button when I need to talk. I'm just observing the replay here, brought to you by GT Radio. Clayton Daly behind the wheel of his brother's car. The shortcut across the dirt there will not be looked upon favourably by the judges. So
it's unfortunate because I was watching Clayton in the practice in his Super, and he was actually very, very, very dialed. And what it seems like the issue he had with his motor was there was another lifter that didn't didn't spit out, but it failed on it, unfortunately. So you couldn't get it fixed in time for qualifying, hence why he's driving Aiden's car.
Okay, so with 16 runners already complete and only a handful left, it is Rody Knowles sitting atop the qualifying at the moment with 89.6. Ben Jenkins in provisional 2, 88.8. Daniel Caldwell brings up third with 86, and Dean Young on 85. So that is how the qualifying order looks so far. So hello and welcome along to the D1NZ National Drifting Championship for the 25-26 season. My name is Warren Sear. Joining me, of course, Keisuke Nagashima, former D1NZ Pro Sport champion, the 205 King. I believe we've christened you now, Keisuke, and you're here to add technical commentary expertise for the season.
Yes, that is correct. I mean, obviously there's a bit of background in terms of how drivers set up their cars, how they take the lines, how they, you know, drive the course and get all the outer zones. As we see Mike Thorley coming out and initiating, grabbing that first outer zone. He's a little bit inside there, misses that second outer zone, does a quick switch, gets out to that third outer zone there, as he drops a tyre coming into the fourth outer zone and switches back for that final outer zone there, as he, again, a lot of the guys have really been sucking into that last corner coming over the finish line there. So it'll be interesting what happens tomorrow with the battles.
Yeah, Mike, if there's any criticism of his driving, I always feel like people have pointed out that he just needs to dial up the aggression a little bit. I'd love to see him out right on the edges of the track, just taking advantage of, like, not like that. That was, I mean, that's just an unfortunate occurrence at the time. But you know what I mean? Like, I'd love to see him just absolutely send it as a run. Like, he always feels like he's at sort of the 98-99% rather than the 102, 103 that he maybe just needs to be just to take that next step. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, no, it does, 100%. I mean, I think he was pretty aggressive on that run there, but it just didn't work out from that first initiation zone. So hopefully he does a better run or improves on his run on his second run there.
The opposite strategy will be Adam Whitehead. he never lacks for aggression. He will be leaning on this thing. I know he's found some more herbs underneath the bonnet. And there we go. So it's the big throw straight away from him.
Yeah, but unfortunately he's really come on the inside there, which unfortunately, you know, it's hard to, once you lose your rhythm from the first outer zone, it's really hard to regain composure there. As you can see, it's really messed up the rest of his run, unfortunately.
He's had to jump on the left foot brake just to try and keep that going, right? And then that's just throwing us, you're right, you could almost see the flow go out of the run straight away as soon as he had to left foot brake it in the place where he wasn't expecting to.
So it seems the Teretonga, like, it's a very fast, flowy track. So to be able to set up for that first outer zone there is crucial to get the rest of the track right.
I think, yeah, he definitely expected to be further up, right? Probably 3 meters further up to the right-hand side of the track than where he ended up, and then from there, is it just through here? I think there's a big left foot break somewhere just after this.
Yeah, trying to get to that outer zone there, which
extended out.
Correct. Yeah. And it messes up his run there for the last outer zone coming into that finish line. So unfortunately for Adam, but hopefully we see a improvement on his second run.
Well, it's going to be a 1. So yeah, you would hope so for a guy who last season his best qualifying result was 2nd. So he will be wanting to take one step further this season. I know we sort of asked the drivers season goals, etc., before the season kicks off, and yeah, #1 qualifier and a podium is the goal for a lot of them. Followed by you kind of get the round win, and then you get the season
series,
win. I think a lot of drivers have realised now it is very incremental as a sport. You're very unlikely to come in and Q1 win an event like early on. It takes years, if not decades, right, to try and put together a championship winning program. I mean, you look at some of the guys who are almost 2 decades deep now, still chasing titles, right, and they're there or thereabouts. I mean, I was doing some research on the plane earlier on the way down, and there were in pro only 2 drivers last year who finished in the top 8 every round.
Wow. Yeah. So I mean, that consistency is key, right? It's actually being able to, you know, set your car up for qualifying, because it is, like, from my personal experience, it is a different setup from qualifying to battles, depending on who you're up against in battles. You want the car in qualifying to be easy to drive, to be able to be controllable. You want to place the car exactly where the judges want you to be. So you do actually make it a little bit less grippy, depending on the setup of your car, what tyre pressures, your dampers, you know, everything in between. So like you said, it's not just the driving that makes a champion, it's everything else in between, the back end, the team being able to work on the cars and understand the cars, the drivers giving feedback to the team to make the right changes to be able to get to that top spot.
Yeah. Do you know who the two were that I'm talking about? Just out of interest?
No.
Luke Fink and Dave Steadman.
Oh, there you go.
1 and 2 in the NZ. Everybody else had at least one result after that outside the top 8. Which as soon as you start getting just obviously the lesser points from a round compared to round wins. So Luke last year went 2-2-1-2.
Yep. And
then Dave, I think, went 5-5. I did actually write this down earlier just because it seemed like a nerdy thing to do at the time. But yeah, Dave went 3-3-5-5-3. So solid seasons for both those two.
100%.
Yeah, Blake and Guy, who we were talking about in Pro Sport,
yep.
They were the only two to top 10 each round in Pro Sport, and Blake has continued on that form, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. Now, that is Sean Potros, who I have been advised, Sean Potros used his competition qualifying 5 minutes due to not being on the line when he was required to, so he does not have a 5 minutes.
So what that means is that he's utilised his competition 5 minute timeout for the duration of tomorrow. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
You see Sean Potros in the S14.9 enter into the first corner, and I think he's having a little bit of trouble there. As you can see, he's really not hit first or second outer zones. He's made it work for the third as he switches onto the fourth outer zone there. A bit of correction from the handbrake and left foot brake to make it out as he switches back to the final outer zone into the finish line. So he's not straightened over the duration of that run, but I think he's having a little bit of trouble, hence why he's called that 5 minute timeout.
Apologies, it has just been clarified that Sean in fact did make it, so my apologies for any Sean Potros fans out there, which no doubt there will be a number of in the Taranaki region. He did not use his competition 5, he still has that available to him for qualifying. Just Sean doing Sean things, right? Like, you always expect something wild from him in qualifying, and even more so in battles. I mean, if anyone's going to go out to 90 degrees and still keep going at 400 miles an hour, it's Sean Potros.
100%. I mean, I was in America just earlier before, and there was a lot of Sean Potros fans even in America, so it's good to see him being recognised over there.
Mate, can you display your language prowess for me here? Jeremy Slembert is from where?
Is from New Caledonia.
And the language they speak there is?
Is French.
And you're able to communicate a little bit in French, so
bonjour.
a greeting to our French viewers.
Ça va bien.
And a couple of basic phrases. Where are we?
J'habite in Nouvelle-Zélande, and that's all I have for you today in French.
We're at the southernmost racetrack in New Zealand, if not in the world. It's D1NZ round at number 1. This is the pro qualifying. Jeremy Slembert, who enjoyed his first round win, I believe, last year at no, he was on the podium, sorry, first podium at Mount Smart last year, and received the toolbox courtesy of
Team Tools.
Team Tools and Luke Fink. This is kind of what I want Mike to just. The Limmy needs to be limmied.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's trying to be aggressive, but it's just the timing of that first initiation that is mistaken. But that third outer zone to that fourth outer zone is doing very well as he smokes up the GT radials there, coming into that final outer zone. Bit of a correction, a bit of a bobble there as he comes around onto the finish line there.
What I do know is that Mike is a proud dad and proud husband, though, so he would want me to shout out Kim and Lily and Luke Lucy,
100%.
his crew chiefs, who are always behind him 100% in what he's doing, and he makes them proud being out there, being their drift dad, along with their drift mama, Kim, who is who's made her way back here with a little bit of a pep in her step from being one of the girls at the World Time Attack Challenge. And how good was that to watch the girls out there tearing it up. Kim over there with her drift mama car, and Mike was over there crewing for her and spannering that car, and now she's I'm sure returning the favour and is down pit side supporting her husband as Mike banks his second qualifying run. And I'll give you another look at this.
Again, yeah, it's that first outer zone there. I mean, I think he's done very well for the initiation. The judges want the Scandinavian flick, but unfortunately I think getting on throttle has really pushed him inside there as he comes down to the third and fourth outer zones, but he's done pretty well. How the judge will take that third outer zone with the wheel off is another question, and here as he comes onto the fourth final outer zone into the finish line, that little bobble there by
They're
Mike.
still looking at it. That's why we're seeing the replays, because the judges wanting to see if there were any deductions there. As
we've got a bit of a technical difficulty here.
I'm going to go out on a limb. I reckon Launchmaster Willie was dancing so hard, and he threw the disco finger out, and he's popped the side of the little D1NZ thing.
I reckon that's. Warren, I think he's trying to turn the D1NZ, you know, what it was, into a wacky waving inflatable arm man.
Right. Maybe that. Oh, you're kidding. So Launchmaster Willie in a dance off versus one of those wavy arm things like you'd see at a car dealer.
100%.
Yes. By the way, shout out. Speaking of car dealers, shout out to Macaulay Motors down here in Vicago over on D Street. They're giving us a Ranger Wild Track to get Keske and Stephen McIver and I around this weekend. So thank you, Macaulay Motors, the southernmost Ford dealer in the world.
Yep. The heated seats go very well.
Yeah, the heated seats did go well, as did the. I'd like the big screen in the dash. That was pretty good as well. So we're just taking another replay here of Mike Thorley in as we do a clean-up on aisle number 2. Yep. Putahi and the team from Smart Steel, the recovery experts. Putahi and his team are our dedicated recovery crew for the entire season. Thank you very much to him and the Smart Steel team in the mighty Triton. If you need a steel shed and you're in the Taupo region, then contact Putahi and his team and they'll see you right. Now, just been advised as well via race control, Jeremy Slammett has a one and done, so that was a drive off the line to bank a single point score. So at this point in time, David Hunter has a 1, Adam Whitehead has a 1, James McManaway has a 1, and Jeremy Slammett will also get that 1 shortly.
Yeah, it's interesting because Jeremy was going quite well in practice in the wet, so I don't know whether he's...
what did we say during the week? The only thing that might stop the JDM boys might be the JDM boys and their cars, right? That's just the way that it goes, unfortunately. A 10-cent part.
That's how the cookie crumbles, mate.
10-cent part or a $10,000 part, just depending on how bad your luck is. Adam Whitehead will be stewing in that car at the moment. He'd be a little bit frustrated with that one the first time round.
He's definitely wanting to improve on this first run. As he comes off the line, plucks the gears and... Oh,
Adam!
No. I think he's got into his own head there. So
if he wasn't frustrated, he will be just absolutely furious with himself now. And he might just need to drive around that track to cool down not only the car but himself.
I think so. He's his hands aren't even on the wheel at the moment. He's
No, he's berating himself in the car. He is actually talking to himself at the moment.
And it's so hard as a driver because obviously one of the biggest things about competition and qualifying is that it's really up to you what you can do, right? The team have done their job. It's up to you to get in that driver's seat, in the hot seat, and do as best as you can. And to do, to underperform in that type of manner, it would be really, really heartbreaking for him.
So what actually happened here? Did it just snap around on him?
Yeah, it seems so. I think he went to go do a flick and then it just over-rotated.
That is weird.
It is odd. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what Adam has to say because it might be something either...
I wonder if he's having some problems just getting the tyres set up right or something Would that be caused potentially? I wonder if they have over in. So this is a replay of Jeremy Slammett, which was the single one and done. So it was a shutdown, and that's just a drive off the line just to get him into battles for tomorrow, and that also will see him into Sunday. So there's a couple of unique things going on with regards to the fact it is a combined rounds 1 and 2 here at Invercargill. The old dog, Fangadan, the Coyote for Castrol, the man with 4 New Zealand Drift Championships. And speaking of championships, Kesko, how good is it that D1NZ is now recognised as a national championship for Motorsport New Zealand? So unreal effort by the team there. What has gone on there? That was a very unusual drag or flick or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think he didn't set himself up right for that last outer zone there, which he's had to extend with a handbrake, and it's really sucked him in. I think this course seems to be a little bit tricky for a lot of the guys here, because it's obviously our first time here as D1NZ. As he comes, yeah, he's been sucked in. He did a little bit of a fast switch there to get into that third outer zone.
Flat angle there.
And but the fourth outer zone is very, very well done there by Fanger as he comes into that final switch, and he's really had to extend it using the handbrake. You see the real wheels lock up for quite an amount of time as he comes over that finish line.
So from a style point of view, right, you're not on throttle, you're just dragging them, so there's going to be a deduction there. Daniel Woolhouse 84.4, so it's not bad. It's not bad, but it's just not Fanger.
Correct.
as silly as that sounds to say.
It's actually unusual to see him, you know, make those types of mistakes, I guess.
What we do know about Fanger though is that he has this uncanny ability to absolutely just come out and throw one down. Like he might come out the next one and just go like 98, 99, just go absolutely berserk because he is that good as a driver. And he literally can drive anything with wheels, right?
Again, we gotta really reiterate that these guys haven't had much practice in the dry. It's been such ever-changing conditions from this morning where it was absolutely, like, there was water, so much surface water over the track, to now having to compete in a full dry qualifying. So these guys are really trying to put it on for everyone and do their best considering the amount of track time in the dry they've had today.
Yeah, let alone not being here in 6-7 years, right? So some of these guys have never been here. The other guys were here probably when the cars were
totally different.
Yeah, they were effectively 6 years less developed than what they are now. So here we go with Adam Davies, who is always there or thereabouts. Is Adam Davies in... Is this the car they call Karen? I think this one's Karen, isn't it? And the other one's the Unicorn. This one's Karen because she's a bit of a grumpy, high-strung girl.
Definitely sounds like a 20B to me.
Yeah, she is certainly a weapon when Adam puts together a run, and he is a guy who is more than capable of putting it on the top step of the podium. He has been there, he has done that before, and he definitely wants this to be his year for Mimiko Raiko 24/7.
And that was a very clean run by Adam there.
Sorry, my apologies. It's Mimiko and Hydralink. It is Mimiko Hydralink. That is my misread there.
So he makes it work from the initiation, coming to that second outer zone, into the third switchback, as he makes it fully out to the outside zone there. Fourth zone, perfect, at full flat, coming into the final outer zone. Bit of a, we'll see if he did get a wheel off or not. It might just be mud on the track, but overall, very clean run there by Adam.
There's Rotary fans right now just giving that 100. Doesn't matter. It was a 20B Rotary. It was a Rotary screaming. That's 100.
Exactly.
Alrighty, Connor Halligan, earmarked by many as the man to watch this season. Perhaps New Zealand's strongest hope for a title coming back. Oh, flirting with the outside.
Look at that.
Absolutely honoured as Connor Halligan. He has been working on this car in the pits, and he is hazing and flying through the zone. But that's bumper over, right?
Correct.
The wheels are still inside the track, so that is perfectly legitimate from Connor Halligan, and that is not a bad run there from Connor. Is that going to be enough to knock Rhodey off? I think Rhodey's kind of going to be half in each camp. He's going to be going, I want to go number one, but that was a pretty sick run. That was aggressive.
100%. I mean, you don't really expect much less from Connor as he comes and initiates onto that first outer zone. He's literally on the track edge with his rear wheels. He does miss the second outer zone a little bit, but makes it work for the third outer zone. Still tyres on the track.
That's the
bumper
deepest
coming
anyone's
off.
been.
100%.
Way deep, yeah.
And as he switches back onto that final outer zone there, and very, very smooth run there by Connor. Very aggressive but smooth, right? So it'll be interesting what the judges have to say about that one.
What they have to say is 88.6.
Very
88.6 to position 3.
There you go.
And what that maybe makes me think is maybe he's actually exceeded the box up the track a little bit on zone 3, because I think it is set slightly inside the track.
Also, he did have to go inside after the first initiation outer zone, and he missed the second outer zone. It wasn't within that 1.5 meters. So if he does make that a little bit of an adjustment to the second outer zone, I think he will get very, very high points.
I'm gonna be nosy, right? Because I do have access to the live scoring data, and I can see the style scores, and I'm just curious to see what that was like there.
As you can see, the drone go round and round and round and round Adam's car.
It's
a lot of control on those drones, isn't it?
What's really interesting is, so I can tell you, so that run there across 3 judges, right? We had an 88, a 90, and an 89. So it's very consistent.
Yep.
But then if we look at a couple of the other runs, where, for instance, we had quite big variations. So there's another one here that's an 88, an 80, a 75, and a 50. So they're quite different in how they've been applied. It's it's quite interesting. So. We'll wait and see how this new scoring plays out. It's something that we're all going to get used to as we watch Mr. Steadman, Dangerous Dave, current 2NZ RB power underneath the bonnet. Dave Steadman came up short just then, and then he's ended up mid-track.
I think he's actually made that work as he comes into the 4th outer zone, and he's 1.5 meters definitely closer to the edge. Through that zone as he comes over the...
I don't know.
For my eyes,
Yeah.
I think that was a very, very clean, aggressive run.
I agree with that.
But
was it where he was supposed to be, though?
Yeah, exactly. That's what the judges are there for. So as he comes into that first initiation, good Scandinavian flick there as he is pretty close to that first outer zone. Like you said there, he was a bit inside, but he did make it work in the second zone.
Did he get up to 3?
He did get up to 3, and he made 4th work very, very well for him as he's on the loud pedal.
He didn't. So if I'm comparing this with another high scorer, though, like what Connor did through 3, like right up on it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because I think Dave was a little bit further deeper into that second outer zone versus Connor, but Connor was deeper in the 3rd outer zone versus Dave, so it'll be pretty close, I think.
Okay, so I don't know what I'm talking about at all. Dave Steadman to 191.
Yeah.
Dave Steadman to 1 with a 91. That's to no one's surprise.
I didn't want to say anything.
No, that's absolutely fine, right? I quite proudly told you a number of times I called Damon Templeman's highest scoring run ever.
And as you kind of called it, Faggot Dan out here,
throwing for the 90s.
Absolute banger of a run. Look at that. That was pretty much your typical run that you wanted to see from a qualifying run. That was,
That was Vanger Dan.
That was Vanger
Dan.
Yeah. He put it on.
That was the I always call him the wily old coyote, right? Because he talks about the coyote motor underneath the bonnet of this car, which actually, according to Ben Jenkins was saying the other day, that car isn't really technically that sophisticated. It's quite basic compared to some of the other cars, but Vanger's just able to make it do things by raw talent and aggression.
Yep. When you look at it there, he's on full lock pretty much coming into that final outer zone into the finish there and straight on the loud pedal. I think that was a pretty good run.
Daniel Woolhouse 91.8 to position 1. Daniel Woolhouse 91.8 to position 1 by 0.8 over Dangerous Dave. Adam Steadman next throw of the dice for you, Sir Hyperlink. Mimico Machine, the 20B is screaming and singing.
Is he going to make it work there as he comes a little bit short on that 4th outer zone? I think, he went a little bit too much angle at 3rd as he comes
sucking down the track, going around the inside ripple strips of the reductions.
Still a good lap by Adam there, but unfortunately those little mistakes, especially in the top 4 or 5 drivers there, really make the difference.
Why have we not seen Luke Fink?
good question.
Why have we not seen Luke Fink? What is Luke driving?
As we kind of look at Adam's little, I'll let you figure that one out as we call Adam's run there. It was a really good initiation, hit that second outer zone. As I said there, left foot braking to that third outer zone really kind of pushed him a little bit too early for that switch for the fourth outer zone there. Pushes him inside as he switches back for that the final outer zone. And like we've been seeing all day, it's that kind of inside clip there that really sucks the car in as he goes over the finish line. So overall, pretty decent run there by Adam. We'll see what the judges will nitpick out of that run. As we see Connor Halligan come onto the first initiation and staying out wide to that first outer zone. Great aggression there by Connor as he switches back for that third outer zone there. Absolutely nails it. Comes onto the fourth. How wide is he going to take it? Oh, beautiful run there by Connor as he switches back. And is he going to make it? Oh,
Rank it and make it stick. Young fella. He's not going to let Finger Dan have this one easy. Was that a good enough run to unseat Finger, Kiske? In your non-judging opinion, as technical advisor, would you give that a top score?
I'd give that the top score from what I've seen today. That was a phenomenal run by Connor.
Let's see how good you are. Predict a score now. He's on 88.6 at the moment. What do you think that's coming through as?
93.
93? You reckon 93?
I reckon 93.
Okay.
I would be giving that a 93 because look at the line from Connor. He's like 1.5 meters from the track edge. From what I see, and then, yeah, I mean, this is all about style, and he's straight on gas, and he makes it around that final turn. It was a pretty good run.
Connor Halligan, 94.8 to Q number 1. He was better than we thought, even Keska. I didn't want to say anything, but here we go.
I was pretty conservative.
Dangerous Dave this time for second throw of the dice. He is currently in provisional number 3 with a 91 Mimico. Hydrolink on the side. Vehicle Service Centre as well as Dave's Business in Tauranga. Go and see them if you want your vehicle looked after. Fast and friendly service, and Dangerous Dave always with a smile, and the George Clooney Towers Ring Tyre Fire.
Mate!
Is that bonus style points or not? 100%. I don't think so. That's a burnout thing.
Dave is absolutely throttling this car through these corners.
Okay,
wow.
So if the last run from Connor was a 94.8, then I think Dave's at least there 93.5.
It's going to be close. I wouldn't want to be a judge right now because both those runs from Connor and Dave were phenomenal. You can see here he's a little bit of an adjustment to the first outer zone, but he's full on throttle to that second outer zone there as he switches and makes that third outer zone stick as he comes onto the fourth outer zone, and he's about the same with the tyre fire. I mean, yeah.
The interesting thing with Dave, right, is that he's kind of done 2 very similar runs. Like he's taken his first run and evolved from it.
Yeah, 100%. He's really improved from his first run on this run, so it'll be interesting to see what the judges say on that one. That was very, very impressive there from Dave.
Dave Steadman 92.4 to position 2. So
it was close. It was close. It was close.
Every now and then I might get something right. Every now and then I'm completely wrong. But anyway, that's fine. So Connor Halligan provisionally won 94.8. Dave Steadman 92.4. Daniel Wilhouse 91.8. Rhodey Knowles 89.6. And Luke Fink, building the tension, wanted the track to himself. Just thought, well, I'm the champion. I'm the first Australian to ever come across to your shores and claim the esteemed D1NZ trophy. I shall have the track to myself with 2 qualifying passes on the JDM machine. Thank you to boss man Jip. Now that was a little unusual.
Interesting. They might be having some issues, mate, because normally he'll be out there with the rest of the crew, and it doesn't seem like
it's not settled at all.
Yeah, the car's
wavering around under him.
And he's not hitting the zones, unfortunately, and he's backed it in. Is he going to make it? Yes!
Well, that's like the most Luke thing to do ever, but normally in like a AU Falcon or a Patrol or something like that. So if I was watching that, what I would say to you is that was a Luke Fink exhibition run or an entertainment run. That wasn't a Luke Fink, I'm driving in a car that I think I can put on like a 99 100 judges type run. That's him putting on a show, and he's that good, right? But it's not.
I have a funny feeling that the car's maybe down on power, or something's not really 100% with the car, because normally Luke would be really on a qualifying, especially on his first lap out. He'd normally try and at least nail all the clipping points in the outer zones, which he hasn't been able to do. So.
I just felt it looked unsettled, like it was wavering around under him. Whether
again, like a lot of the drivers have been caught out from that first outer zone, not getting into the rhythm there, and then messing up the rest of the run. So unfortunately for Luke, he is only human.
Is he? Is he?
He's Australian.
Is he not? Well, he's Australian. Well, Australians are human too, Kisko. You can't say things like that on commentary. Can't believe you said that. Dear Australia, we apologise for Kisko. He didn't mean it.
I love Australia.
Usually it's. I'm just doing that because usually it's me. So here we go with the run for Connor Halligan that has provisionally put him in Q1. There is one pass left for Luke Fink. Will it be enough to unseat Connor's 94.8? That is provisionally the Q1 mark at the moment. Has Luke got enough left in the tank?
It comes
I don't
into...
think, no, it's well shallow, isn't it? He's just...
Might be, but he's making that third outer clip and the fourth outer clip. He's going very fast through that fourth outer clip, and he switches back. And he's made it stick. So let's see. He's definitely improved on this first run, that's for sure.
But again, it's not a precise Luke qualifying lap. You know what I mean? Like it's not a.
Oh. And he's doing the...
and at the end of qualifying, somebody's going to stop and pick up the ball.
He's tried.
He tried. Where'd reverse go? Don't know.
No.
Don't know. So we didn't actually...
A+ for effort.
Yeah, did his first score actually lock in? Luke got given a 1 for his first run. So Luke got given a 1 for his first run. It must have been for rotating past 90 degrees.
So the initiation was pretty good there. The second outer zone he was a little bit shallow on, but third and fourth, and he's flying through that fourth outer zone there as he switches back, and he makes it work back straight back onto the throttle as he comes over the finish line there. So I reckon there'll be a decent run in points there for Luke. I don't think he's been able to beat
it's not
Connor.
Good enough. It is 87. So Luke with an 87. So here is a replay again of Connor Halligan, who provisionally qualifies Q1 for D1NZ, the National Drifting Championship, now an officially recognised Motorsport New Zealand National Championship. Round number 1. Results are deemed final 10 minutes after the conclusion of qualifying, hence why I must state at the moment they are provisional. Connor Halligan Q1, 94.8. Dave Steadman, 94.2 in Q2. Daniel Wilhouse, the wily old Coyote, position 3 with a 91.8. And then Rody Knowles, 89.6. As we watch a replay of Fangadan coming through the section, I will run through. Benny Jenkins, our broadcast colleague, 88.8. Luke Fink, position 6, 87. Daniel Caldwell qualifies position 7 with a great effort for him. I think he'll be proud of that one. Dino Young, on pro debut, qualifies Q8. Then we have Adam Davies, Scotty Dinsdale, Justin Patterson, Braden Mayer, Johnny Latham, Michael Thorley, birthday boy Adam Griffin, Sam Edinburgh, Aaron Habib, Sean Potros, Clayton Daly, Adam Whitehead, David Hunter, Jeremy Slammett, and James McManaway with Wereta Kake, unfortunately a DNS. So that is provisionally how they stack at the moment. Congratulations, Connor Halligan grabs early first blood with the Q1 points. Of course, we are competing for the D1NZ National Championship Drift Series, and qualifying can be the difference between first and second place sometimes when we get to the pointy end of the season. So let's see how things stack up for battles tomorrow. Keisuke Nagashima, the 205 King, my broadcast colleague for Pro this season. Pretty good start, I think, to things for 25-26. Pretty solid qualifying session.
100%. I mean, one of the things is on the off season, a lot of the teams look at the cars, they break them down, they re-engineer a lot of things that they've seen over the last season, and to come out and they have to go, full arms swinging. So, I mean, they've done a brand new track here at Teretonga and Invercargill here at the bottom of the South Island again. So it's been phenomenal to see both the pro sport and the pro guys come out and put on a show for us, and I'm looking forward forward to the battles tomorrow.
Alrighty, speaking of things we're looking forward to, I'm looking forward to getting a bit of water into me. That is us done and dusted here for day number 1 here at Invercargill, Teretonga Motorsport Park, the southernmost racetrack in New Zealand. We will see you tomorrow. Myself, Ben Jenkins, Keisuke Nagashima, Stephen McIver and Joe Mulder bringing you all the action. We'll be on live from around 10:30 AM tomorrow. We'll see you all then.